upper to take a picture with my son. Okay, thank you. So sit down, please. So now we're going to read the book. So do you have this book? So you can buy it. You can buy it, or you can just use this book here. But please pay attention, so we could then sell it.
Maybe you see that because you are not saying what's going on, or they are showing you the video.
Who wants to have the copy?
Okay. Yeah, but okay. Oh, thank you, sir. I'll listen to you online.
Okay, so it's. So, where we are going to start? So, chapter 1. So here we have seats in front of. So please come here and sit. Have you sit here? Please come in front. Come closer and sit closer. Please. The first chapter.
Ну, я же не могу переводить теперь. Они их слышно. Им слышно то, что я перевожу.
Есть пролог и первая глава. Вступление, пролог. Пролог. Пролог, да.
Oh, African lady. You look gorgeous. Look at her. She's beautiful. She's amazing. Come here. Wow.
Книга называется «Правильная и неправильная реакция».
So the book is called The Right and
Не
Unright
стыдно
Reaction.
упасть, стыдно не
So
подняться.
preface.
Карл Макси Брошир. 17-летний подросток Джо Лоутон был найден мертвым. Рядом с...
So a 70 years teenager was found.
18 страница.
This page 18, so preface. So
17-летний подросток
a 70 years
Джо Лоутон
old
был найден
teenager,
мертвым.
Joe Lawton,
Рядом с
was
ним
found
лежало
dead,
ружье.
and near
Перед
him there
тем,
was a
как покончить
weapon.
жизнь самоубийством,
So, and after
юноша оставил записку,
having suicide,
который говорил
he
о том,
committed a
что
suicide. So
опасается стать
he
разочарованием для своих
he gave a
родителей и
copy.
учителей.
He
Вследствие
gave
того,
the
что он
paper
двумя
with
днями
the
ранее
text.
был арестован за вождение в нетрезвом состоянии.
And
Судя по всему, Джо был
and this
поймателем,
in this paper
который был на отличном
there was a
счету у
tag
окружающих взрослых, и арест, которому он
that he
подвергся,
was afraid
стал
of
для
being
него
punished by
трагедией, которую он не
his
смог пережить.
parents, and
Результатом всего стала
but
неправильная реакция молодого человека,
he had to be
самоубийство,
arrested
которое теперь стало
and
причиной
being afraid
безутешного
of
горя для его отца и
of the
матери.
punishment, he decided to
Как
commit a
говорится, это был
suicide.
школьник высокого
So
полета.
this
Он
was
планировал
a teenager,
продолжить
good
обучение в
teenager. He
университете.
planned to
Но его
continue
планам и
his
мечтам не
education,
суждено было
but
сбыться. Он не
it
смог
wasn't
справиться с
possible for him
обрушившимся
because
на
he
его голову
couldn't
несчастьем
cope
в
with
виде ареста
with this
дорожной
pain, with this hurt,
Если бы он остался живым,
because
то через
he
2
he
дня
was
должен был
supposed
явиться
to
в
be
суд.
arrested.
Это то, с чем
And
школьник не мог
after
справиться
2 days, he had to come to the police station,
Родители Джо
but
так и не были
he couldn't cope with this
проинформированы о
situation.
его аресте. И
So
теперь они
parents of
считают,
Joe
что это стало
were not
решающим
informed about
фактором
his
гибели их
arrest, and
Судя
now
по
they
всему,
think that this
подросток
was
был
the
просто
main
обескуражен
factor,
тем,
the
что
co-factor
случилось,
of
и не
what
рискнул
happened.
поделиться с матерью и
So
отцом
he
происшедшим
didn't risk to
Но
share
попытка выглядеть
what happened with
совершенным и
him.
непогрешным в
This
первую очередь
attempt
в глазах
looks
родителей
like easy and
сыграла с юношей злую шутку. Джо решил,
But
что уже
however,
никогда не сможет оправдать их доверие и
Joe
разочаровал
felt
их
that he
настолько,
couldn't
что это помешает им
meet
принять
the
его как
meet
своего
the
сына. Юноша был уверен,
the
что он сможет
expectation
угодить
of
своим родителям, только
his
если будет
parents.
идеальным и безупречным
So that
всегда и во
he
всем.
thought that
Это
he
говорит о том,
must be
что он не был
perfect.
уверен в
He had
безусловном
to be
принятии со
perfect
стороны своих родителей.
because
Как
he
это ни
didn't
печально, но ни
understand
отец, ни
that
мать Джо не успели
he
донести до
had
своего
can
сына
could
про
be
его жизнь,
accepted
что ценят
by
и любят
his
его таким,
parents.
как он
And he didn't understand that he was appreciated and he was precious to his parents. So he was afraid of the reaction of the parents. So you see, because of the reaction, people commit suicides. Because of the reaction, parents and relatives punish. And so we adults and parents, we have to behave ourselves. We have to analyze our reaction because it can influence other people's lives. So the parents of this teenager didn't show that his mistakes are never can be like the issue for him to doubt that they love him. He never felt accepted. He never felt that he can actually make a mistake. So he was very disappointed. And his father once said, Joe was a perfect son. He never disappointed the family. He had always a success. He was a success. He was perfect. He was an ideal son. But the director, the principal of the school said that this was actually the teenager who was perfect. He was a sample, really a sample for others. Very punctual, very reliable, but because of his perfectionism, he paid this huge price, which is his life. So perfectionism is kind of being a perfect, striving for being perfect, but also very requiring to himself. So perfectionism is dangerous because all the time the person is afraid of falling. The person is, and that's why he can't accept his errors, his mistakes. The person can't just relax and understand that you have to just analyze, but not feeling guilty. So the person can't stand up. So you see the reaction, the wrong reaction. If you're a perfectionist, and it leads to the thing that this person fulfills his dreams, his goals, achieves his dreams with a very huge and very high price. And sometimes, and mostly, this price is a health or relationship with other people. So you can't have all the time success. Sometimes there are failures, but with the wrong reaction, with the reaction of perfectionism, this person can't just can't have a failure. So for him, it's like a calamity, like a catastrophe, and being in this state, it's very dangerous. Bill Gates once said, success is a bad teacher. He makes other people think that they can't lose. So we see the example of this quotation in the life of this guy, of this teenager. So he thought that he could be perfect all the time, and never having the experience with failure, he thought that he should be perfect all the time, and not having any resolution, he shot himself with the weapon. So he was in the trap of this feeling, perfectionism. So, and the only resolution was the suicide. But he should have seen that there are a lot of resolutions actually. So how often our reaction depends on how we analyze our life and how we perceive different things. So what would you do if you had the same place? How would you react if your, for example, beloved daughter got pregnant, for example, at 16? What would you do? What would be your reaction if your teenage girl got pregnant at 16? And you didn't plan for her being a mother at such a young age. So what will you do? And the second question, who would she address to? Do you think it would be you or other people or the father of the child? So what do you think about this? What would be your reaction?
Карл Макси Брашир, американский военный водолаз. Я смотрел. Первый афроамериканец среди выпускников военно-морской школы водолазов и спасателей сказал замечательную фразу: «Не стыдно упасть».
Karl Marx once said, it's okay to fall, but the main thing is to stand up. So the right reaction is to stand up. And this teenage boy should have stood up. So we have to foster our kids to have the right reaction when we lose, when we have losses. So this is what is the right reaction, and this is what keep us alive and avoid catastrophes in our lives. So let's pass to the second chapter. So how do you react when you have reproaches and when you face criticism? So I would like a woman read, because she reads good, well, and quickly. So what is your reaction towards remarks, criticism? So the second chapter is devoted to researchers dealing with the right and the wrong reaction. So the role is very important of the right direction, the right reaction. So in the next two chapters, we should discuss types of reaction, so we could change and make positive shifts in our lives. So when we so the first reaction is, how do you react when you face criticism, when you have remarks, reproaches? So Tatiana is sure that so this story about Tatiana, whose resume was seen, and she was very proud of it, actually, because she worked at a shop and she sent her resume, but she wanted to move forward. So that's why she sent her resume. So this day she was extremely happy because she dreamt about leaving her village and she wanted to be financially successful. So that's why she had some expectations about her future. And so she finished school and accountant courses. And after the first interview, she had the position of the accountant assistant. So she was so happy, and she had promotion, and she had a good job. She had a success financially. She felt confident, and she had happy pictures and happy plans about her future, about her relatives, her family, relatives. So once she had to prepare the report, the accounting report, and once she deleted very important documents. And after this, she was shocked, and she couldn't ask nobody about these important documents. So she tried to fix the situation. To every 10 minutes, she smoked the cigarettes and trying to cope with the situation. And the board asked her to send the report. And after the next question, why the report is not done, she answered she can't do this because nobody helps her. She got angry, she got irritated. So she was very irritated, and she talked in this way with the board. So she said, "What do you want from me?" And the director actually reproached her, saying that if you are going to communicate like this all the time, actually you won't pass this trial period, and you won't move forward in this job. So, but Tatiana kept saying, "You are wrong. I deleted these documents, but you didn't explain how to cope with it, how to cope with this software, with this program. So you are guilty." So Tatiana got fired. So you see, when the person feels guilty, he tries to involve other people. So her colleague tried to help her, but the girl couldn't cope with her emotions. Instead of taking these reproaches and taking them into consideration and analyzing her behavior, she couldn't cope with it. So she was irritated. She insulted her colleague. So that's why she got fired. So the incapacity to communicate, she couldn't face different kind of situations. So she lost the opportunity. She lost the possibility to work in this job. So how many typical situations do we have in our lives? So this reaction destroyed actually her relationships with the board. So she had to come back to her village. So this is how we always destroy, we always ruin actually our plans for the future. So how do you react when you have criticism, when you face criticism? If the principal, if your director rebukes, reproaches, what is your reaction? So here's my advice: pay attention to develop the capacity to react in the right way, because if the wrong reaction interrupts us from being blessed, and that's why we lose opportunities. Even this little reaction can discover you as a human being. But you have to understand that the sense of the criticism is to help you. Because when you do something wrong, and nobody tells you that you are doing something wrong, this is a bad sign. But when people care about us, so they say actually criticism. So you have to understand this issue. It's very important in your life. So, and I want to say that the word criticize means to correct, like make corrections. I know it's not easy and it's not pleasant to receive remarks, reproaches, but it means that people care about you. People are not are not careless. They are supportive. They want help. So it means that your reaction should be, you have to be grateful. You have to be grateful and thank to people that they try to help you. So we have to perceive of all the kindness and all the criticism and remarks as a good thing, because somebody stopped to tell that you are wrong. It means that this person cares about you. This is how the other person honors you, respects you. So in the same way, you have to give back this respect, this honor. You have to understand this care. So, and this is like a sign for you to change your way of thinking. So you have to understand that this person is interested in you, in your positive changes. But the wrong reaction, oh my God, I faced this huge criticism. I felt guilty. I felt awful. This is the wrong reaction. But we should think that somebody find time to help us. Somebody found time, his own time, to help, to give some information. So in our turn, we have to think. We have to be grateful and respect this person. Но почему же тогда даже ваши родные, близкие вам люди не замедляют ход своей жизни и не останавливаются, чтобы сделать вам комплимент? For example, if you see other people making reproaches and you see it's not fair, you have to think that a lot of people do not stop for criticizing you. They just move forward. They don't care actually, but this person did it. So this is how this person wants to participate in your life, because he cares about your future, about your life. And after understanding this, we felt like relief that we have such a great person in our life. So after being criticized, we should feel joy. We should feel happiness. So once a very famous writer said, if you want to avoid criticism, don't do anything, don't say anything. So if you are criticized, you do right things. Yeah, maybe you make mistakes, but however, you want to move forward, you want to progress, you want to develop. So, and it's okay actually facing criticism. It's okay making mistakes, but at the same time, you have to know to perceive criticism. So, and the right reaction is to get benefit from this criticism. So, and the right reaction is gratitude towards those people who criticize you, who make reproaches. So now I'd like to recite the verse in Russian. So this verse is about the people who play a huge role in our lives when they criticize us. Can you try again? Can you read again the verse, please? It's not just a text. So thanks to all who
Спасибо всем, кто нам мешает, кто нам
Thank to all
намеренно
who
вредит,
agitate, who mingled, who try to ruin our plans. Thank to those people.
могли понять, какую роль они
They don't
играют в
understand
наших судьбах.
that they play a huge role in our destinies. But making this pain by hurting us, they play a huge role in our lives.
Закончила.
Ну как?
Hey, can you just change the intonation, please?
Вот, читай.
Okay, who can just read
Не,
the
пускай
verse,
это-
please?
это только, да, ближе. Оно уловит.
Спасибо всем, кто нам мешает, кто
Thanks
нам
to
намеренно
all
вредит, кто наши
agitate
планы
to
разрушает
us,
и нас обидит.
who ruin our
О,
plans
если б только эти
and who wants
люди
to hurt
могли
us.
понять,
Oh, you should
какую
know
роль они играют в наших судьбах,
that
нам
these
причиняя эту боль.
people play a huge
Душа,
role in
не
our
знавшая
lives
потери,
by hurting us.
душа, не знавшая
Our
обид,
soul,
чем
the
счастье
soul
в жизни будет
who
мерить?
don't know, who
Прощение,
doesn't know
радость с чем сравнит?
the pain,
Ну,
can't
как мудрить
appreciate
и развиваться
joy,
без
happiness.
добрых, злых
So this is
людей?
a way of getting wisdom. This is a way of getting knowledge, information how to live. So,
Из ими
so
созданных
we have to
препятствий
understand that this is
возникнут тысячи идей,
the way for
наполненных
us to
добром и светом.
appreciate
Повторяй
our
100
life.
раз. Спасибо вам
So this is how
за всё,
these
за
people
это.
don't understand
Что б мы
that
делали без
they
вас?
fill our lives with delight. So we have to be grateful for that. So we have to thank them for that. So what would we do without you? What would we do without you?
Можешь так читать? Можешь так читать? Ну давай попробуем, как ты будешь читать. Не, просто дай.
Спасибо всем, кто нам мешает, кто нам намеренно вредит, кто наши
The same
планы
verse, but the other girl.
нас обидеть норовит. О, если б только эти люди могли понять, какую роль они играют в наших судьбах, нам причиняя эту боль. Душа, не знавшая потери.
Душа?
не
Не,
знавшая
надо по
обид.
ритму надо держать.
Чем счастье в жизни будет мерить? Прощение, радость, чем сравнит?
А?
Ну как мудреть и развиваться без этих добрых, злых людей? Из ими созданных препятствий возникнут тысячи идей, наполненных добром и светом. И повторяю я им 100 раз. Спасибо вам за все за это. Ну что б мы делали без вас?
Ну, давайте я попробую.
Pastor tries to read the same verse himself.
Спасибо всем, кто нам мешает. Спасибо всем, кто нам мешает. Спасибо нам... Ой. Спасибо всем, кто нам мешает. Кто нам намеренно вредит. Кто наши планы разрушает и нас обидит на развит. О, если бы только эти люди могли понять, какую боль они играют в наших судьбах. Какую роль они играют в наших судьбах, нам причиняя эту боль. Душа, не знавшая потери, душа, не знавшая обид. Чем счастье в жизни будет мерить? Прощение, радость, чем сравнить? Ну, как мудрить и развиваться без этих добрых злых людей? Из ими созданы препятствия возникнут тысячи идей, наполнены добром и светом. И повторяю я им 100 раз, спасибо вам за все, за это. Ну, чтоб мы делали без вас. Извините, я...
Также есть замечательное высказывание Томаса Уотсона-старшего, основателя IBM. Если вы хотите быстрее преуспеть, то должны удвоить частоту неудач. Успех лежит по ту сторону неудач.
Еще
удачи.
раз, если вы хотите,
Если вы хотите
There's a
быстрее
quotation
преуспеть,
of the founder of eBay. If you want to
сейчас такую
succeed
удачу.
статью неудач
as
удвоить.
soon as possible,
Если вы хотите,
so you have to double the quantity of your failures.
еще раз.
So
Если
success
вы хотите
is
быстрее преуспеть,
is
то
in
должны
the
удвоить
borders
сейчас
of
такую
failures.
удачу. Успех
So you have to double the quantity, the pace of your failures. So success is behind the failures, actually.
что если мы хотим преуспеть в
So
жизни,
it means that
добраться до вершины,
if we want
то
to
в наш
succeed,
адрес слова исправления
so if we want to
замечания
get to the
должны
top,
слышаться
so
два раза
criticism
чаще.
must be heard
Правда ли?
twice
Не правда
often.
ли? Шокирующий вывод.
So,
Но
is it
это
true?
действительно так.
Is it true?
Поэтому
Yeah,
ваш
this
успех будет определяться
resolution is quite shocking, but
тем,
however,
как замечания,
the
сделанные
resolution of the situation depends on how on your reaction, on how you react actually.
когда мы неправильно реагируем на критические замечания в
What's
наш
going
адрес.
on if we have the wrong
Это яд для
reaction
слабых.
facing the criticism? Criticism, it's
Вау, еще раз. Критика.
criticism is a poison for weak people. Criticism is a poison for the weak and the medicine, the remedy for the strong.
Как яд мы реагируем или как...
So, how do we react? With the poison or with our... How do we react?
Значит, мы яд все равно.
So we have to understand for ourselves.
Не по-разному, она должна
How, do we use poison
благодарность как лекарство.
and we are the weak, we are like
Значит, состояние сердца,
weak people?
значит, есть понимание жизни.
So what is our state of the heart? So criticism, it's not the poison, it's the criticism actually. So we have to develop the right reaction. Facing criticism, we lose a lot of things: career, dreams, relationships, confidence. So and after that, we can't achieve our goals. So and after that, actually, we got the reputation of people with bad behavior. But having the right reaction, the wrong reaction, we show who we are, who our true themselves. So
Такие, наверное, тоже среди нас, а?
we shouldn't think that nobody on the earth can make reproaches. We don't have to think about ourselves that we are perfect and nobody can't say anything like wrong, anything dealing with criticism. Nobody can't rebuke us. So we shouldn't be emotional. We should accept, perceive in the right way, and accept criticism, because actually it's a blessing for us, and we shouldn't perceive it like a curse for us. It's not a curse.
Тебя узнаешь, я так чувствую.
So please, you should analyze your reaction. So I see that somebody recognize himself or herself.
Но тогда вы должны помнить, что поступая так, человек сам себе подписывает
So you
приговор, он своими
Remember
собственными
that
руками
by doing
перекрывает
it,
себе
just
любой
sign,
путь наверх. Жизнь таковой
you condemn
не
yourself
бывает.
actually,
Таких подобных
because
можно
you
сказать,
ruin
что
your
небо
own
таких
way to the
закрывает.
top.
Все возможности
You ruin your own way to move forward. This is how you close your opportunities. This is how you ruin your opportunities. So this is why you have to have the right reaction, and we have to develop. So having the wrong reaction means that we neglect, we ignore the opportunity. By doing it, we say, oh, I don't need changes. I'm okay. I behave well. Okay, leave me alone. So this is how we just ruin the way for us to change, to make positive shifts in our lives. Maybe we should, but the other reaction, we just don't want to face ourselves. We just don't want to encounter with ourselves, analyze ourselves, see what we should change. But instead of analyzing, we just create and we just making excuses. It means that actually we are driven with our emotions, but not with our sense, intelligence, and reason. So don't make excuses. Don't say, I'm good, I'm good. So this is how we interrupt the truth, change our life.
Когда на любое замечание человек реагирует нервно и на эмоциях, то это означает, что он не понял сути критического.
So when we react emotionally, it means that we don't understand the sense, the meaning, the importance of the criticism. So we think that this is a danger, and in order to avoid this danger, we refuse accepting it. We think that this is the way to ruin us, but it's not like this. We have to see that in every criticism, we have to see this gold piece, because every rebuke, every reproach can change our life in a positive way.
Слова которого я процитировал в начале этой главы, зависит только от вашей правильной или неправильной реакции. Критика убивает нас в том случае, когда
So once a performer humorist said that criticism kills us only if we react emotionally. So if we react emotionally on criticism, this is only how the criticism can kill us. But if we control emotions, if we control our negative emotions and get of it positive things, it can be really remedy. It can be really medicine for us. So, and criticism is given for us to resolve, to cope with problems that haunting us all the time. So, how to have the right reaction? First of all, we have to understand, if we face criticism, we have to have only the one reaction, gratitude, because this person cares about me. So if this is the case, so I have to honor and respect this person more and more. So, and I let this person make reproaches and say criticism more and more. So I let this person to do this, because I don't want to fail. I don't want to be in the bottom of the life. So, and this is why with pleasure I'm gonna put myself in the position to let our people make reproaches. So we have to understand that being reproached is a must. So, and we have to show people that I'm open, I'm ready to receive, to accept more criticism. But there are situations when people when people just disappear when they hear criticism. So in this case, this is the wrong reaction. So what is the right reaction to get benefit from this? So first of all, we have to remember, that we can't know for sure, for 100%, what this person means. So we can just suppose, we can just suggest what other people think, but very often it's not the case. So sometimes we just imagine something. We think this person thinks this in this way. So when we are criticized, it doesn't matter if we are guilty or not. We should ask forgiveness. Just say, I'm sorry for making mistake, for doing this or that. Just say sorry. You have to apologize that because of you, the mistake was made, and as a result, there were bad results. there was a bad accident. So if you're responsible or not responsible, it doesn't matter. If you are guilty or not, your first reaction is to apologize and say, please forgive me. This is a mature attitude. This is a mature reaction towards the accident. But I'm really interested in why we do not react like that. Why when we make a mistake, why we protect. Why we don't say, I'm sorry, I recognize my fault, I'm sorry. Why we don't say that? Why we make excuses? But frankly speaking, why do we protect? So we protect ourselves because it is laid at the layer of instincts. But you know you are wrong, and you have the fear of being punished. So and people make excuses because they want to protect themselves because of inner instincts, maybe. He doesn't try to analyze. It doesn't matter what's going on, but the first reaction is to protect, is to prove that no, you are wrong, I am right, I'm not guilty. So this is the wrong reaction. However, in our society, it's widely spread. So it means that you try to avoid reaction. And I think that the person is more focused on the process, but not on the goal. For example, me, when I'm facing this kind of things, I'm analyzing criticism, and I'm asking myself what I have to change, what I have to do to improve the situation and to get benefit from the criticism. But I think that this reaction is because people are more focused on the process, but not on the goal. So also this is the indicator of. I'm talking about the situation with this accident. When we take responsibility for the things happen, we take responsibility. We are not hiding behind. We do not seek people who put the guilt on them. So this is how we show the mature attitude. But normally, to apologize, trying to apologize, we just making excuses. We just trying to say. If you hadn't said, everything would be okay. So this is how trying to apologize, we're just making excuses and trying to put the guilt on other people. But this is not healthy. This is not a healthy attitude. It means that this person refuses to take responsibility not just for the accident, but for his own life. So the second point, the first one is the gratitude, the sorry, the apologizing, and the second is gratitude. Say thank you so much for caring about me. It means that this person who actually criticizes you cares about you, and we, in our turn, we have to understand that this person actually is not actually cares, and we have to honor this person. So we have to cultivate the reaction of gratitude towards this person, and thank God for this person, that this person actually stopped to correct, stop to make a reproach for us to make positive shifts in our lives. So instead, indeed, we were unhappy. We hadn't changes, and our life would be the same. Very often we think that, for example, the director shouldn't be we shouldn't ask our, for example, director to help us or to make remarks, to make reproaches, but it's the wrong attitude. But if we actually had this approach, this is a very important. It means that God let this situation happen, but please get benefit, take lessons from it. Only with this approach, we have to have actually this approach in criticism. We shouldn't get angry. We shouldn't get irritated, but we have to take lessons and wisdom from the situation. We should understand that there are no situations which couldn't be resolved, and
как вы ведете себя в мелких вещах, говорит о том, как вы поведете себя в вещах больших.
So criticism is like a little thing, and if you are tested with this little thing, they show how you can be trusted in big things. So your reaction is like a little thing when you can be tested. And then God can provide you with big things. And if you have high standards, reacting with little things, so God will give you good and big things, because He knows that you have the right reaction. We have to remember that for example, real situation, we think they are really simple, they are not important, but God this time He's watching actually. So whatever you do, you have to do this like for God, with all responsibility and with a high level. So the third point is we have to show direction of readiness to work on ourselves, the readiness to analyze ourselves and take every criticism into action. We have to work out the plan. How are we going to do things in order to avoid mistakes, errors? So, dear friends, we finished dwelling on the second chapter, which is called How to Deal with Two Reactions. So the first chapter we talked about the first reaction. In the second chapter we had the type of the wrong reaction. Should we go on? That's one chapter.
So, dear reader, we open the next chapter of this book, and it's dedicated to wrong reaction. So the first reaction is how we react on different corrections, and the next reaction is how do we react on the questions. So in this chapter we would talk about how do you react on questions. So are you just sit and be silent? Usually when now we are gonna practice how do you react on questions. So usually when I ask any questions, people just sit silent and do not react on me. So how do you react when you are questioned, when you are asked something? This is a very important moment.
согласитесь,
And
что
usually we
обычно
don't
мы
think about it
мечтаем,
in
уносясь
our
мыслями
everyday
далеко,
life.
и потому не слышим вопрос как таковой, либо
Remember,
думаем о своем, тем
how
самым
do you
игнорируя
usually
того, кто
react
находится перед
when
нами. В любом
somebody is
случае, мы
talking to you?
предпочитаем не
Are we
реагировать.
just
Есть
flying
категория
away
людей,
and
которые
think
молчат
about
всё
something
время. Это
else
тоже мне о
which is
чём-то
not
говорит.
related to the
Отсутствие
person who's
реакции — это
talking to
тоже
us?
реакция.
Or
Отсутствие
do
инициативы —
you
это
really
тоже
think
сигнал.
about
Когда
something
я работаю с
which is
людьми, то мы
related to
постоянно о
yourself
чём-то
and
говорим.
not
Всегда есть какие-то
about the person who
задания,
is in
но
front of
если
us?
человек не предлагает себя, это значит, что он во всеуслышание заявляет: меня здесь нет, не трогайте меня, я ничего
There are
не
some people
знаю,
who are
делайте,
silent
что
all the
хотите,
time,
это ваши проблемы.
but one person
даже не задумываемся
doesn't
о том,
react
что
on
какая-то
the
наша
person who's
реакция с
sitting
головой
next to
выдает нас.
this
И мы
person,
сами
it
себя
means that this
подписываем в
person is
своеобразный
just
приговор. Знаете ли вы, к чему
proves
приводит
that
подобная реакция?
person doesn't want to
Как вы думаете,
talk and
дорогой читатель, на кого я обращу внимание в
is
первую очередь
ignoring.
как лидер, как пастор этих людей? На кого я сделаю ставку в
So,
следующий
dear
раз, когда
reader,
речь пойдет
who do you
о
think
важном, но
I'm
не менее
gonna
выгодном и заманчивом предложении? Кого я предпочту пригласить в проект? Конечно же,
see you
мой выбор
and
пойдет на того, кто активен, кто
which
поднимает руку,
which
кто
person do you
слышит
think
меня
I'm
и
gonna
готов
invite to some
отвечать
project?
другими
The
словами,
the
тот,
person
кто
who is
проявляет
raising his or her
инициативу,
hand,
кто
or the
демонстрирует
person who is
поведение
always
пусть.
silent and never
Те, кто
reacts
остался
to my
сидеть, предпочитают
questions?
сидеться в стороне, лишь бы их не трогали, не беспокоили, то есть не заставляли покидать
Those
зону
people
комфорта,
who
не обратят на
just
себя мое
who
внимание.
prefer to
Эти
sit
люди
silent
хотят
and
продолжать
never show
оставаться в зоне
any
комфорта, и
actions.
свои реакции они
These
громко
people,
говорят мне, что ни под каким
they
видом
just want
не
to
хотят
sit and be
покидать даже
in the
ценой
comfort zone,
таких заманчивых предложений. Но помимо этого они еще и сообщают мне очень
and they never want to
неприятную
leave this comfort
новость. Эти
zone.
люди не почитают меня
And
как
what this
пастора.
tells me
Они реагируют
that-
не как люди
that these
чести,
people do
а
not
как
honor me
самые
as a pastor.
откровенные хамы, не имеющие
So they
ничего
do not
святого
react
внутри.
as a people
Вы
and
спросите
of
меня, откуда
honor.
я знаю
Those
это,
people
вы
just
будете удивлены.
do
На
not
каком
have
основании
anything
я сделала такие
holy
безнадежные
in
выводы?
themselves.
Скажу вам откровенно. Об этом мне
You may be
прямо-таки
surprised. Why do I say
кричит их
this?
реакция. То, как реагируют эти люди, оставаясь безучастно сидеть в аудитории,
I can say
не
this,
сделав
but
даже попытки
from
ответить
their
на мой
reactions.
вопрос, без всяких дополнительных усилий сообщают мне об их внутреннем состоянии. И как всегда, наши люди прибегают к
So the
оправданию.
reaction of
Одно из
those people who
оправданий.
who
У меня был
ignore
страх
me, who do not answer
Но
my
если вас
questions,
переполняет страх, то не остается места для почтения. Надо побороть свой страх.
so I asked
чтобы
them, why didn't you
оставаться
answer my
быть человеком
questions?
чести.
Some
А
may
не
say,
скатиться на уровень
I've been
человека
scared.
бесчестия. И я не знал, что
So
сказать.
you have to
Возможно,
fight
это
your
так и есть на самом
fear
деле, потому что внутри у человека
if you want to be a
пустота,
person
но
of
никак не
honor.
почтение.
Some
Опять-таки,
other people
нужно
would say,
проработать над собой.
I
Чтобы
didn't know what
наиболее
to
сильными
answer.
реакциями у нас была
So
реакция
this
почтения.
means that you
Если я
you are
хочу
empty
почтить
inside,
своего
but
лидера,
it also
своего
means
пастора,
that you are
своего
not a person of
начальника,
honor.
то я сделаю для этого всё
If I
возможное.
want to honor
Если
my
я пусть
leader and my
внутри,
pastor,
значит, я буду
my
читать,
director,
изучать, увеличивать
I
свой
will
объем
do my
личности,
best.
чтобы быть в состоянии сказать хоть
Then,
что-то.
if I am empty inside, if I'm not
Никто не
a
сказал,
person
как
of quality,
реагировать, я не
then I
знала.
need to read.
Знаете, дорогой читатель, многим вещам нам придется научиться
Some other
самим
people
в
will
этой
say,
жизни.
nobody
Нам
would
придется
didn't
включать
tell me
свою
how to
голову,
react.
проанализировать ситуации, выработать в себе те реакции,
Well, you
которых
know,
прежде, может быть, и не
you
было
need
в
to
нас. Если вы
study a
ничего
lot in
не
your
сделаете
life.
для себя сами, то кто делает за вас это?
There are
Причина
different
такого
situations
незнания, как
when
реагировать,
you didn't know
является
how
всё
to
та
react,
же
but you need to
пустая
study
голова,
and need to know.
пустая жизнь и отсутствие почтения внутри человека. Нужно
And
приложить
if you do
усилия,
not know how to
чтобы
react when
наполнить
you're
свою
asked,
голову,
then
сделать
it's still the same.
полноценной свою
You have
жизнь
empty
и
heart.
выработать в
You're
себе
empty
правильные
inside.
реакции, в том числе и на почтение.
You should
Еще
work
одно
on
из
yourself
оправданий
and you
«я
should
не
work on
хочу
your reactions.
выпендриваться». Это реакция ложной скромности. Каждый человек, который
Another
успешен в любой
answer
сфере,
from people
какую ни
who
возьми,
are
преуспел
silent,
там
they
именно
may say,
потому,
I do
что он
not want
победил
to
эту
be like
ложную
proactive. I do not want to
Такому
jump up.
человеку всё равно, кто будет доволен, или
Those
не
people
будет,
say
когда
that they
он
are
что-то
very
скажет,
shy or they,
задаст
but
вопрос,
this is
или
not really
отреагирует на
shyness.
происходящее еще каким-либо образом. Есть время и место, где нужно быть скромным, но есть время, когда быть скромным
There is
неуместно.
time and there is
Если вы
place when
будете и
you
дальше
should
так
be shy,
реагировать, то останетесь внизу,
but there is
в серой
also
массе.
place and time where
Помимо
you
всего
should be
прочего, привычка не
proactive.
задавать вопросы —
If
это
you're
признак
not
рабского
gonna react
менталитета.
correctly,
Это
you're gonna
признак
be
человека,
at the very bottom and you will
несвободного,
never
да,
get any
несмиренного.
success in your life.
Такой человек поклоняется сам себе. Для него превыше всего не мнение Бога, а то, что о нем подумают. Таких людей больше беспокоит: а вдруг меня не поймут, а вдруг подумают,
Such
что я
person
ничего не понял, а вдруг
doesn't
подумают
really
ему,
want to know
а
what
вдруг
God's
подумают,
think
ему,
about
что
this
больше
person. they also only want to know what other people think about this person. What if these people think, what if I look fool, what if I look dull? This person just think what the society want to think about them.
This is why in our society people are perceived with anger, because this is why people don't want to be enthusiastic, because they are afraid of being misunderstood, and this is the sign of unfreedom. So it means that this is just these people like a biomass. It means that they are like gray mass. These people are trapped in the prison of public opinion. So for these people, it's quite difficult to promote, to have the promotion, to have a successful career. Because for a free people, for a free person, it's important God's opinion and his own one. And if a person never leaves without having answers, he strives for having questions and having answers. But the representative of a biomass, he keeps calm, doesn't make noise, doesn't ask anything. So no, it's cool. It's widely spread. At school, our kids just are learned to just stay calm and not saying anything. So this is not a healthy person. But a healthy person wants to have answers. He can't just abide in suggestions, suppositions, so on and so forth. He just wants to have answers. He's enthusiastic about having the truth. So, and this is why he finds peace, because he gets answers. So we have to have the right reaction. We should get rid of this mentality to stay without answers. We should seek for answers. And if we are criticized, so we have to ask why. So if we do not ask, we plunge into the darkness. So this is why if we have questions but we do not get answers, we are like in the dark. Ask. And if we have no light, which is knowledge, which is wisdom, information, so we abide in the darkness. So it's very important to communicate with the person face to face, to clarify things, to get to the straight point. It's very important to understand why you are criticized. So, and this is actually the light is. So the person who's free, who's healthy, wants to clarify everything, wants to have the light in his life. So, and the first way is to ask, to make questions. But the person with the wrong direction doesn't strive for having answers. For him, it's like a horror, a torture, asking. But this is an unhealthy person. So it's like the embassy of God Church in Ukraine. Somebody sees only the darkness. Only somebody sees the darkness. Why you go there? They ask. Why are you going there? Because for people who want to see the light, they see the light. But even seeing good they don't see good, they see bad things.
Это как посольство Божье. Государство даже не знает, даже не признало, что от одного наркомана спасает.
So, for example, the government can't recognize the result, the good result that the Embassy of God Church has. We helped so many drug addicted people, 10,000 officially recognized, and the government does not see it. So, in other words, we will always have the light, and we have to make efforts to get the answers we want. But if we don't want to do this, if we make excuses for not having the answers, so we abide in the darkness. So this is how we just stay without answers, and we abide in the darkness. Okay, so without answers, we have fantasy, we have anger, we have insult. So and other bad things. So, dear reader, I want you to proceed with me and analyze and what are the origin of revolt. So, first of all, it's the lack of questions. And then add some suppositions, added some suggestions and fantasy, and then make a conclusion according to suggestions, according to own experience, but without the truth. So this is the way to get into trouble, actually. So the question, if you what to do in this situation, if you don't know how to fix, how to cope with the situation, just go and ask. Don't miss the opportunity to have the light. Don't abide in the darkness. Just ask, because indeed the person will have bad results, actually, won't have achievements. Well, so this is what Isaiah says, that if you do not accept my reproaches, so I will ignore you. If you do not accept the light, I will ignore you. So an unhealthy person is not interested in the light. He likes gossips, suggestions, and according to that he makes conclusions. So this is kind of choice that the person makes, chose in the dark. This is his own choice. This is his unwill to not to ask questions and not to get answers. This is his will, his desire, just to abide in the darkness. So at the end of the day, this person will realize that he didn't live, he didn't love, and he didn't matter. So, because questions are supposed to be the tool for create, for change, to make contributions, to make positive things. But without questions, the person, people abide in the darkness. So this is why people stay in the darkness. People stay with the pain, just without asking, without making questions. People just abide in the darkness. People carry the problems with themselves, having questions but are afraid of discussing these questions. So this is how they remain with pain, with hurt, and they don't want to discuss, and they don't want to have the light actually in their lives. So if we don't have questions, what does it mean? It means that he is not willing, he is not thirsty, he's not hungry. Because if you are not thirsty, you don't want to drink, you don't want to eat, so you won't actually have it. So without this, all our good expectation won't be met. So the second point, if the person doesn't ask, actually he doesn't have the goal. So this person doesn't live for the goal. It means that if you have the goal, it means that you have to seek for information to achieve this goal. But without having questions, it means that you don't have the goal. You have dreams, but you don't take actions. You don't have the goal, which is concrete, which has dates and details and volumes, but it's a dream, but it's not a goal. Well, the person who doesn't ask questions is not pushed inside to outside, but the person who has goals thinks about this, and actually this person is focused on it. So the third point is if the person doesn't ask questions, this person doesn't see differences. For example, you have the meeting with Donald Trump or somebody who is a millionaire, and you just keep calm, you just stay calm, but you don't ask anything. So, but instead you should have asked how to succeed, actually, how to be a millionaire, because this information could have enriched you, but you didn't ask, so you lost this opportunity. So, for example, you took maybe some notes, but you had actually the opportunity to ask, and you didn't. So it means that this was the wrong direction. But I'm sure you had the questions. I'm sure you were thirsty for having the answer. In this case, if you had asked the question, you would have received the wisdom, not just the information, but the answer who aims at your goal, actually, and it would benefit, it would bring benefits into your life. So every country has its differences. So if we and possibilities to succeed are different, so we should ask successful people how to do this in this country. So this is the way of avoiding opportunities, possibilities, because if you can't form actually the question, you won't be successful. So the key problem of losing all the opportunities is not being capable to form the question and ask the question. But our attitude is just stay calm, and that's all. But this is not mature. But the mature attitude is, I'm here to become like you. But we are different. This is our problem. If you understand this, you will have the right reaction. Imagine the situation that you are in the hall, and the speakers are Bill Gates, the mayor of your city, and just somebody from your neighborhood. So, and if you don't ask any questions, you just put these people down at the level of this person from your neighborhood. Because if you don't ask, you don't see difference between these three people, between Bill Gates, between the mayor of your city, and between your neighbor, because you don't ask. Do you want to know my verdict for a person who doesn't ask? Not to Bill Gates, not to a mayor, not even to a neighbor. He is dead. Because he didn't understand anything in the life. So you see, actually these things, they are so small, they are so little, but they are decisive actually in our lives. Because these little things, they determine everything in our lives. How do you react? When we do not ask questions, it's very easy actually to bury these people, because he didn't understand anything in their life. He didn't understand who is who, because the capacity to see who is in front of me, it's also like a sign that I could be the same, and that I could have the same position. But if we don't ask, if we don't want to clarify for ourselves how he managed to do this, what's good? So this reaction is not reasonable. It means that this person is shallow, is superficial. The person who doesn't recognize the great person and doesn't ask questions is narrow, is shallow, and has no goals in his life. But if you see the person in front of you who's great, who's maybe older, who did what you didn't, who had the level you haven't, you hasn't, so you should take the chance. You should benefit from this chance, and you should have the right reaction. You should be hungry and thirsty. Just ask something. Just ask something. This is why we learn to strive. For example, I very often I have questions. What is your favorite color? And pastor answers, how can it benefit to you? How can it make a contribution into your life? What can it give to you? This is why we learn to strive to follow somebody.
Именно поэтому мы учимся, стремимся следовать за кем-то, подражаем кому-то только для того, чтобы достичь уровня этого человека.
This is why we learn how to strive to follow somebody. This is why we want to have the level of somebody's, of the great person's level. This is why we have to learn to ask, because asking questions, actually, this is the right reaction. and we can judge about the intelligence of the person according to his questions, but not his answers. I just want to comment. Once I saw the interview, and the journalist had actually took the interview, and there were the interview with the great person, Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken. So, and this journalist was not so qualified and professional, and he couldn't ask. So in front of him was a great person, and he couldn't ask. So the journalist was so shallow that and the journalist couldn't ask the right questions. For example, how did he overcome obstacles? How did he overcome all the ordeals in his life to become so great? And the journalist just asked about the car, about the plan. So very soon I'm going to read the book about questions. Very soon. And the title is Why the Question is More Important Than Food, Work, why the question is more important than family, wife, and health. Wow. Are you going to buy this book? So it's easy to judge about the intelligence of the person according to the to his answers, but to his questions, not the answers. Because wise people always ask questions. So I face all the time the situation when people ask, when people don't ask questions. They see, they hear the information, but they don't ask. So it means that whoever the speaker is, even if he is great, even if he is successful, it doesn't matter for you because you don't ask. It means that you humiliate him, and so you see in our society people don't ask. This is like a culture. We have no culture of asking, so we have to cultivate it. No, people are not just shy. It's just, the mentality of being punished because you asked, the fear of asking, because and its origin is in the mentality of being punished because you asked. For example, when I visit doctors, and doctors say, you have to buy this medicine, and I ask, why should I do this? And doctor's reaction is, why are you asking? I'm the doctor, I'm professional, so you have to go to the shop and buy it. But they are not used to receiving question actually from patients. So, and after examining actually the medicines they subscribe to me, I see that all this is like the stuff, medicine stuff is so unuseful for me. So that's why we have to ask all the time. When people say something to you, ask why you are saying it. What is your motivation? Why you said it? I think that we are poor in our mind, poverty of our intelligence, of our mind, is because we don't ask questions. So we have to ask why. What are the consequences? What are the results? We don't ask ourselves. We do not respect ourselves. It means that we do not respect actually ourselves, our life. Or, for example, when you communicate with people and they criticize other people and you don't ask, so you let these people like gossip. So you have suggestions, you have suppositions, you have just like half truth, which is not a truth, which is a lie. So asking questions is great. Jesus asked, actually. I just want to say that a few words. I want to support, I want to maintain that poverty of our mind means that we really can't ask questions. For example, my son is used to doing his homework, and for example, home assignment dealing with literature, he had like he has some text to read, and he's used to answering on the questions after the chapter, and but then I try to ask him, and then I see that he can't answer. He's used to answering some kind of questions, but other he's not used to. So, and this shows how our scholarship system is a little bit wrong. So, and the school doesn't cultivate the right attitude towards scholarship process. And for example, the child shouldn't be afraid of being asked.
И вот я так своего ребенка учу, но вместе с тем замечаю, что это и моя проблема, просто немножко в другом масштабе. А есть еще такой момент.
So that's why when we are doing actually the homework assignment together, I ask additional questions to my son. And also, people don't ask questions because they feel shy, they feel modest, they feel awkward when they ask. Once I had a visit to the doctor, and I asked, why are you subscribing this remedy for me? And the doctor says, why are you asking? And she said, I'm not going to buy it. And the doctor said, hey, I've graduated from the university, and you are not the right person to ask me those questions. So, and she said, no, I'm not going to buy this medicine. So I understood that some questions are really awkward. So, and this is why maybe they shouldn't be asked. So because of being awkward, people are afraid of, in general, of asking. So is there this situation, this problem of asking because you are afraid of being awkward? Yeah, I think yes, you are right. Sometimes when we get an awkward question, we ignore them. But what I saw that Pastor Sunday has had the right reaction. He says all the time, please repeat what I've just said. And Pastor Sunday said, please repeat what I've just said. Repeat my question. And when the person is dwelling on different subjects and doesn't remember what was he asked about, so Pastor Sunday always says, what I've just said. So, and the second case, why people do not stand up to answer. I think yes, the main reason is that people are afraid of giving the awkward answer. I've been trying to see pastor for 2 days, and I wanted to have the answer. So, and I faced the situation that I'm at home, and I can't actually form the question. I can't make the question. oh my God, I'm thinking, what am I doing? I can't even ask. So for ask, I faced the trouble that before just asking, I couldn't even make the question. So, but I try to see Pastor, but because I'm here in his house, but I can't visit him because I can't make a question. Oh, it's terrible. And Pastor Sunday says all the time, if you have questions, please stay. And I stayed, but I couldn't. I didn't manage to form the question. And so, Pastor, my question to you is how to form the question. So, and Pastor said that the resolution to it is to read the book How to Learn to Think. How to learn to think. So, Pastor, please, I need to overcome the fear and doubts, and however I need to form my questions to come to see you and ask. So remember that the volume of the person and his intellectual level is determined by his capacity of making questions. So it's not in vain that I quoted I gave the quotation of this French humorist that our intellectual level is judged from our capacity of making questions. So, and if you can't make questions, it means that you do not develop your personality, that you do not read, you do not do self-education. Just you are just shallow, you are just empty. So, of course, that's why you don't have enough information to make a question, because you don't have enough information to form, actually, to make a question. If you stay calm, if you keep calm, it shows that you do not read. You do not read new books, you do not develop, you do not generate ideas, you do not generate new information. But for a person who moves forward and who does self-education, he actually generates questions. And when he sees the person who can help him, he just generates questions. So for me, if nobody asks anything, for me it's a bad sign. Lack of questions is a sign of ignorance, of neglection. So if you can't ask and if you keep calm, it's a wrong reaction. But if you knew something new, and if you made a research, you networked, and you have enough information, you can actually form the question and you can ask. It means that you do self-education, you develop, and finally you will achieve your goal. But those people who stay calm, they won't have anything in their lives. This is the wrong reaction. What does it mean when you ask? What does it mean when the person asks? It means that he is intelligent, and we've already discussed it. It means that you can anticipate his future, because you can see his intellectual power, intellectual level, so you can see his future. So when a person asks the question, you see his hunger, and you see that this person actually will succeed. You see the character of the character, his will towards knowledge. Why it's important to have the reaction of asking? That one who doesn't ask, he won't learn anything. So the main, the core way to learn something is to ask. It's always great to ask. Successful people consist only 3% of the society, universal society. But if you look, the 3% represent those people who ask all the time, who are hungry, who are thirsty. They strive. They are driven with the goal. It means that they ask all the time. They won't have changes. They won't have progress. So they are enthusiastic. They rave about questions. Sometimes we think that these people are not normal, but they are just driven with positive changes, with their goal. And this is smart. It means that they are smart. They are very active, they are proactive, and they can't just stay calm without getting answers. And this is the way to progress, to evolution in their lives. It means that they care, they want something. It means that they can be very useful in the society and then can make a huge contribution into this world. So if you are calm, it's very dangerous. People who ask, they have the potential of pioneers.
Они обладают реакцией первопроходцев, пионеров и делателей, которые меняют лицо Земли и историю.
They have the potential. This is the right reaction. They are like pioneers who can change the face of the world. And actually, they are focused on having answers all the time, wherever they are, whenever they are. So it means that. But there are other people, and if something happened with them, they keep calm and they don't ask. So, for example, when I announce that I'm going to talk about this or that issue, they just stay and they're just waiting for events development. They are expecting for me to change or to dwell on the topic. It means they sit on their seats and it seems to me that they say, okay, so we are here, just entertain us, perform for us. But without questions, they do not show their interest, they do not show their drive, their strive for having answers, so they're passive. I think the origin of all those things is a Soviet mentality, the Soviet way of thinking. So it means that if the principal says something, if the board CEO says something, you have to keep calm. Just stay calm, because in due time, speaking out loud, it was like a moveton. It means that it was a bad behavior. So, and nowadays, when I face people and encounter people who don't ask questions, I see that this is the result of this Soviet way of thinking. So this is why we sit on our seats without any changes. So this is how I see that those people are not ready to inherit my wisdom and my knowledge, information that I have. Listen, when you hear the person, the great person, you shouldn't stay calm. You have to ask. You have to be active. Don't stay on your seat. Ask.
Но стоит запомнить одно железное правило. Получает ответ только тот, кто задает вопрос. Если человек не задает вопросы, он не имеет права на ответы.
The one gets the answer who asks. So the life will give you what you want, what you require actually. So the life gives you what you require, what you want. The door opens when you knock. If you don't knock, nobody is obliged to open. If you don't ask, nobody is obliged to give. If you don't seek, nothing will be found. So I always have great knowledge and I have wisdom, and I'm ready to share actually with it. But the problem is that many people have no idea, don't think that I want to share, but they have to ask me. So I mean that these people should work out a list of questions and then ask. And the core reason of this situation is also that you just have to not just ask questions, but require the answer.
И жажда такого человека тянет из вас ответ. И благодаря тому, что человек думает об этом, находится в поиске ответа и задает вопросы.
But there are other people who strive, and they are enthusiastic, they rave about, have questions. So they get the answers. Unfortunately, it is 1 or 2% of those people who ask all the time, but others stay passive. I think the decisive factor of success is the capacity of asking questions. This is why I'm working with people only who strive and who want to know. And I made up my mind that if the person doesn't ask anything for 15 minutes, I leave this place. Because for me, this is a sign that this people or this person is not thirsty and is not willing to get the answer. But for me, to make me say, people have to prove that they want me to say, to retell, to share my wisdom. But people who don't ask questions will never in those 3% will be never successful, and they will abide in those 97%, unfortunately.
Я тружусь только для того, чтобы вытащить как можно больше людей из категории серой массы и сделать их по-настоящему людьми. Я хочу видеть людей, которые приняли для себя решение что-то делать.
Me, I'm working all the time on the issue that I want to bring. I want to make people successful and make them come into the 3%. So and I'm very interested in the people who actually ask questions, and I'm ready to tell. I'm ready to share when the person says, "Oh, I'm ready to come here all the time. I'm ready to come here wherever you want." To stay here, abide here all the time. This is my choice. I just want to know. I'm ready to stay with you. Just please, just. So now you see that all your results you have depends on the right reaction, which is asking questions. And this is your chance to make a leap, to have a breakthrough in your life. But if you stay calm, like you are having water in your mouth, so and if this is a great victory for you to ask the question, so you just risk to stay a representative of those people who are in 97%. So nobody can help you, even God. So pay attention to the next thought. When the person asks, it means that he gives the demand, he gives the requirement for the answer he needs. But most of us lost this capacity. What capacity? Always being in the state of seeking. So what should we strive for? We have to be ready to stand up for our position, make question taking into consideration our future, counting 2-3 steps ahead. It means that this person worked out this question, and then he is ready to take action and implement. So if you can ask, you can build the career, the destiny, even the wealth. The key to the wisdom is the capacity to ask. So the person who knows how to ask will govern, will rule. We can't rule on the earth. We can't govern on the earth if we can't make questions, because the capacity of asking is our inner capacity, and it means that if you can ask, you can succeed. You can rule, you can govern on the earth.
В этой главе мы подробно рассмотрели, как мы реагируем на вопросы. В следующей главе мы исследуем такой вопрос, как реакция на возможности.
So in this chapter, we saw how we react on questions.
Ну что вы скажете? Кто-то еще хочет сказать?
So, are there any comments?
So when I had such a situation when I just started to work, I was like, I didn't have any experience, I didn't have any information, and I came to my director and I started to ask her. So I was initiated to ask her questions, and she started to teach me, and she also introduced me to her directors, and this was the way I started to grow, and I started to become more qualified. So when I became very qualified, and we had the situation when we were solving some issue. And when we were solving some question, I just said very in emotions that what do you know? You're not actually solving anything. You know nothing. So she stopped to raise me. She stopped to help me to grow, and she didn't actually invest in me. She stopped investing. So I just I could compare those 2 years when she were growing me, helping me to grow, and when she was teaching me, and this time when she stopped to help me. So I can tell you that for sure 80% of my growth was during that time when she was helping me. And somebody is so afraid of being corrected, and so my lesson was that my reaction was not correct because I started to react like this, like to my director inside, even before I said what I said to her. So, and I felt like this phrase that she doesn't know anything that I know better than her, these words, they just ruined all her help she was providing to me. So I actually got my lesson, and I'm using it right now, that words and reactions you have is actually vital. When I finished my high school, I entered the school of St. Jacob, and there were some Americans teaching us.
И он говорит, я ставлю, что 50%
And
оценки
all of
ваши,
us,
это
we
ваши
were
заданные вопросы.
getting
Вы
very
не
low
задаете
grades,
вопросы, поэтому у вас низкие оценки.
And we didn't know why.
И после
So,
этого, то есть это
we
ценность, а мы
asked
не понимали, почему
those
они
teachers
приходят,
why all of
мы
us
весь материал
here
знаем,
having
они нам
so
ставят
low
низкие оценки. И только
grades,
сейчас я
and
понял
he
после вот
answered
этого
that
обучения,
50%
что
of my
это урок в жизни, двойка.
grade of my
То есть
evaluation
мы не умеем
of your
задавать
success,
вопросы,
of your
поэтому
knowledge,
мы
is
нищие,
the
бедные. Я
quality
понимаю,
of
что
and the
после
quantity of your
самообразования
questions.
это, наверное, вторая очень важная ценность.
So
Спасибо, пастор.
my lesson is that after knowledge, the questions are the most important things in our lives, because if you do not have any questions, you will have very poor quality of life.
Значит, была ситуация такая, в университете я учился, и на одном из предметов преподаватель рассказывал,
I had this situation in the university.
Обращается к классу и говорит, ну, есть у вас какие-то вопросы? Ну, все сидят, молчат. А я сижу перед ним, я ему задаю вопрос. Ну, моего вопроса я ему задаю вопрос. Говорю, вы действительно хотите знать, что я думаю?
And I was sitting in
а почему ты об этом
спрашиваешь?
Третий вопрос.
And I asked
ну, а я ему снова, вопрос на его вопрос.
Said,
говорю,
really
у меня есть что вам сказать, но я не уверен в том, что до конца моих учебных дней в университете мне не придется за вами потом бегать. А он сидит и думает. Ну,
so I answered that I have something to say, but I'm not sure that it's worth to say that, because I didn't want to look for you till the very end of my university, till my graduation.
Да, у нас
and he asked me, are you a preacher or something?
Такой разговор, вопрос.
So our discussion was like
и он говорит,
question to question.
Вы же не ответили на мой вопрос. И я говорю, я вам ответил, просто вы не услышали. Он говорит, хорошо, я понял.
Said, you didn't answer my question.
Все, что вы скажете, это
said,
будет просто
ваше мнение,
это на ваших оценках, на ваших работах никак не отразится. Я говорю, хорошо. И я говорю, ну, я сказал то, что я думаю. И он меня спрашивает, а откуда ты это взял? Я говорю, как книжки читаю, только не те, которые вы читаете. Вот. И он говорит, слушай, а где ты такой взялся вообще? Кто ты такой?
He said, where did you get this information? And I said,
короче, он начал
мысливать,
что я
какой-то агент,
я работаю на какую-то службу. Вот, потом еще одна ситуация была, значит, собирали...
What he asked me is that, where did you get this information? So he started to think that I'm some kind of agent or spy or something, or work for KGB or security services.
Была, значит, еще один предмет, он же вел, только другой. Значит, ну, собирали деньги, ну, взятку. Я говорю... На предмет, чтобы все было гладко, собирали деньги.
The students were gathering some money to bribe him.
Подходит ко мне староста, говорит, надо денег.
Pastor says that it's like Ukrainian style.
Ну, преподавателю, говорю,
to bribe some professor so he doesn't ask any questions.
Я не вижу, что в списке.
So I asked students, is this money for?
Она смотрит, ты что, говорит, в своем уме? Я говорю,
so he thought that those students are asking for money, not for bribing, but he said, I already paid for my education. And he said, I already paid for my classes.
Да. Я говорю, я очень рад, что я у вас в списках. И что вы от меня хотите? Ну, в общем, мы сейчас с тобой пообщаемся. Ну, я начал меня по предмету.
So this professor
called
me, asked me to come, and he said, so you are in my list, and
пришел, значит, отчитался, я, значит, ему задаю вопрос.
Я
хочу вам задать очень неудобный вопрос. Он мне говорит, ну, какой неудобный твой вопрос? Говорит, ну, я у него спрашиваю, а почему вы, значит, принимаете
I want to ask you one question.
От студентов.
Very uncomfortable
а он как мне дипломатично так ответил, говорит,
why do you accept money from students?
Я говорю, и какое-то
So
отношение имеет вообще.
His answer was like, they are really empty-headed. These people.
То, что ты будешь ходить за мной, я тебе дам знаний, которые они не хотят иметь. Но эти знания, которые я тебе дам, они тебе в жизни пригодятся.
So I said, why should that affect me?
И вот эти вот задания, которые не дал, они мне, ну, в принципе,
so
на протяжении многих лет, они мне очень сильно помогли.
That those assignments I give you, the extra assignments, and all this knowledge you will get through all these assignments, you will really need it in your life, in your work. And those students, they are like escaping all these additional assignments and questions. And this professor said, you're a very serious student, that's why you're not bribing.
Мне нужно было перевестись на другой факультет, но меня не восстановили в университет. И он так вызвал меня потом, спрашивает, а почему так получилось, что ты поступил на один факультет, а заканчиваешь сейчас на другом? Ну, я ему объяснил ситуацию, он говорит, на самом деле там можно было... ну, вырулить эту ситуацию, просто ты не знал, и никто не был заинтересован в том, чтобы ты это знал. Ну, то есть вот так.
Спасибо. Я тоже хочу рассказать о своей ситуации жизненной. Дело в том, что 4 месяца назад,
Thank you, Pastor.
после долгого своих поисков работы,
I want to tell you what happened to my life.
Фонд еврейский и на 2 месяца испытательных. И нас было
I want to tell you how I've been looking for a work for a long time. At the end of the day, some people picked up on me. And the person that decided to give her a job asked her if she was a Jew. And she was really not certain to give him the answer to that. And after a month, throughout the month, they were testing them, who came, who worked with who, and who is the best person to work with client. And the director of the company invited her. And the director asked her questions, and because of her experience, she was able to answer all the questions, and he decided to keep her. That she was able to answer the questions because she was Jew, because they have this thing in them that when you answer the questions, they're able to answer exactly when you ask them. And that was how she was able to get the job. And that job was not just any kind of job, it was a very serious job. And now she's one of the coordinator in the place she's working. And because they are Jewish, they are very highly recommended people. They have experience in all sphere of profession you can think of. And it's not just all about work. They have this spirit that really can motivate someone when at work. And pastor today asked her that, where have you been? Why have you not been here? And she said that she has been with these people for all this while. She has been busy working with them. And she has been listening to pastor, and pastor have been listening to her too. That those people, they are very successful people. They have they are successful, they have their own flats, but they left everything in the eastern part of Ukraine to come over here. That when she started listening to them, she could feel their pain, and all this is coming from pastor, because pastor have made her understand that you should listen to people and try to get what exactly they are saying on what they are going through. And she remembered the teaching of pastor during the new year, what pastor said about opportunities, and now she can really see the opportunities coming in from different ways. And she's happy to be here, and she came to say hi to pastor. That all what she can say, she's grateful to these people. That she's grateful, and she can imagine the difficulties that they have been to. That if you go to other organizations, they try to help you, but in this situation, it's them that are helping other people. So she's grateful that she's able to help her own people. So she wants to thank pastor for all the support. So that means that it's not that you were nowhere to be found, but you were busy serving. That is very good. Well done. I want to tell you about reaction, and I have a nice advice that I've known people that have longed for a long time. That there are this kind of people that if you tell him something, tell him to go and do something,
которое есть. То есть в основном, на самом деле, любое замечание мы можем исправить прямо сейчас.
When you tell them to go and do something, instead of them trying to concentrate on what they have been told to do, they try to react to their own emotions at that moment.
То есть говорит, да, хорошо, все, а как надо делать? Вот так все, хорошо, давай я буду так делать.
But he has already learned that what you ask him to do, he would try to do it exactly, not to concentrate on the environment or what's going on only.
И оправданий могу, ну то есть, ну если что-то доказывать, мог там раньше часами в детстве там сидеть там и с кем-то переговариваться там.
That he try not to concentrate on conflict.
Затраты энергии, ресурсов, там, времени, конфликты.
That
И вот благодаря как бы учению,
especially when you are sitting with when you sit to just with your peer groups, that people try to say many things that you might get upset. And instead of him trying to react to those kind of things, he tried to calm down and try to find reasons or try to make the situation cleared so that they won't have more conflict.
Вопросы, да, пастор думает, что действительно вопросы задают думающие люди. И я думаю, что вопросы в течение жизни возникают у людей.
The next thing I want to talk about is about question.
Призвание, предназначение. Люди, которые куда-то идут. То есть по-любому.
That in our lives you meet people that have goals.
У нас всегда было такое правило, что
Some people that are going somewhere. That he remembers that he was in a rehabilitation center. And they ask them questions like, where are you going to, who are you? And some have answers to that and some don't. But there is a difference between those that are reading Bible, those that know Bible, and those that don't know. Obviously, those that know Bible are able to answer those questions without problem. But those that are not able to, they don't know the Bible, they get lost along the way. It's the same thing about any topic that pastor says or is talking about.
На пути достижения цели ты по-любому сталкиваешься с вопросом. Если ты пытаешься воплотить эту информацию в жизнь, там, визуализировать или представить...
That about any topic that the pastor may be talking about or anybody talking about, before you answer any question, you have to stop and think. Ask yourself that question first. Be able to answer the question first before you open your mouth to answer the question.
Ты вообще не слушал, ты не понял, тебя не заинтересовало. Поэтому вот это состояние расскажите, а почему...
And because sometimes when we are not looking for questions, when someone asks you a question, you get lost. But if you have a goal and you're going somewhere, or you try to improve yourself, if someone asks you questions that might be connected to each other, then you'll be able to know how to answer the person. And some people get offended when you ask them questions, or they even get shy because they are not they are empty inside.
И то, что вы в книге сказали, то есть я сегодня еще для себя больше подчеркнул, что задавать вопросы важнее, чем получать ответы. Задавать вопросы, состояние задания вопроса, это значит, ты о чем-то подумал. Это значит, ты уже совершил какой-то процесс.
To ask questions is more important than getting answer. Because for you to ask questions, it means that you have gotten through a process for you to be able to be sure to ask questions. So whatever situation may be, he tried to ask people questions around him that, what are you thinking about this? That it's not because he doesn't know the answer, but he just wants to get information and know how people think. So most of the people, they tell him that I don't know. So he tries to push them to say that just say anything. It doesn't matter what the answer may be. Just feel free and say anything that might be in your mind. And the person will just the same thing and say, and you? Instead of trying to answer the question, he tried to ask him the same question. It's because they don't believe in themselves. So he thinks that questions is a sign to make someone think. And it shows also that you are on topic, that you know what is happening around, or you know what is in trendy. But people that are not able to answer questions, there are people that are
У
lost.
нас идет онлайн-трансляция, и я хочу зачитать некоторые комментарии по этому общению. И Надежда Стенина пишет, да, мы все такие были.
We have people that are watching live stream, and I want to read comments that are coming from online.
Благодарю, что во мне этот раб засыхает, и я больше приобретаю силу свободы.
So I want to thank this topic about the reaction, how to be on topic, how to be aware of activities around you.
Между стимулом и реакцией есть промежуток, и в этом промежутке есть
It is only action that can bring us success.
И от этой реакции зависит наше развитие и наше будущее.
And it is good to have reaction, because in reaction we have options, and when you have options, it means that you're going somewhere.
Над чем мне еще надо поработать. Самое интересное, приходит немного времени, и я вижу изменения в себе. Людмила Мазалова продолжает и пишет. Когда в прошлой жизни я имею в виду
So she has read the book, and she has gotten result and reasons on how to think and how to react to things on different topics, and how to react to emotions, and how to react on actions that may be happening or activities that are happening around her. So is it to that kind of level? So some people just give up because they are being criticized? Yes. So some people react very quickly, without even trying to get the whole question or what is happening. So at the end of the day, when you're able to explain to them what is happening, they now say, oh, I didn't answer you very well, or I was too emotional.
Продолжаем читать комментарии. Наталья Маслякова пишет, когда нет замечаний, критики, я уже начинаю беспокоиться о том,
Okay, we are going to continue reading the comments.
Светлана Корецкая. Если раньше, после выполнения заданий, я ожидала только похвалу,
That I used to react to criticism, but right now I'm stable, and now I'm even ready for more critics to come my way, so that I will know what to do with them, or what to fix, because people only criticize you when there is something wrong.
Как им правильно реагировать. Антон Сабхир пишет, бывает, заданный вовремя вопрос дает возможность перехватить инициативу и получить преимущество в переговорах, в деловых переговорах по работе. Людмила Мазалова пишет, когда я работала над своим характером,
that we need to listen to criticism and reaction of other people and learn from them. And also we should take them as lessons. And it doesn't matter if the person you know or you don't know. Oh, Pastor, this is a question for you. What is the differences between criticism and questions? I think criticism has nothing to do with abusing. It depends if it's a wise criticism or just a stupid criticism. But most people, what they're saying is most people see criticism as abuse.
То есть, допустим, первое слово и первая фраза может быть критикой. Я могу человеку сказать, слушай, ты неправильно сделал. Вот
that we have our mentally,
То есть, понятно, как бы критика
The way we think as a nation is that we accept criticism as abuse.
Почему даже Библия она говорит, не называй дураком. У нас часто заканчивается критика оскорблением. Ну ты неправильно поступил, осел.
That is the reason.
Такой. Ну то есть, как бы это сленг, пастор.
So instead of trying to understand what the person is saying, you see it, you get offended about what he's saying or about the criticism he's saying. So because that is the kind of people, or that is the kind of nation they are, that they see criticism as they read it like another way. That people prefer them, they prefer to be praised than when, for example, you try to tell them, oh, your clothes is not in order, you should fix it. And the moment you try to correct someone, he gets offended. And he tries to say, oh, you don't love me, or you're trying to correct me, or what have I done wrong that you're trying to pick on me.
И у него чувство собственного достоинства только основано на том, что ему говорят, ты хороший,
But I
ты
understood
красивый, ты
later
молодец, ты
that
поступаешь
the
хорошо.
person is not
И если вдруг слово не в ту
is
сторону
not
и скажет, что ты поступил неправильно,
he
он
has
сразу
low
плачет,
self-esteem.
он
That is why
сразу
when
же
you criticize him, you
мужчина
take him
это
as if you
агрессия,
hate
он
him
думает, что
instead
это
of you're
оскорбление,
trying
он
to
идет
help him.
драться, выяснять взаимоотношения, они не изменятся.
For men, the moment you try to criticize them or you try to correct them, they get aggressive immediately and defensive.
Мы вообще не привыкли воспринимать любое, то есть есть даже такое выражение.
Разница нету, да?
Да, есть такое даже выражение, там и
Either
слова не
constructive
говори, да?
criticism
То есть
or
и
not
слова нельзя
constructive
сказать.
criticism, we
То
are
есть есть
just
такое выражение, и слова
used
нельзя сказать. То
to,
есть мы
being
все себя так
defensive all
ведем,
the
что лучше
time.
ничего не говори. То есть
As
всем
long as the
попробуй.
words are not good,
Да, ну,
no
то
one
есть,
really
и
accepts
получается даже
being
то, что брат
corrected or
рассказывал,
being
что когда даешь
criticized.
эту критику, то не то, что там как в книге написано,
So
там,
it's better for you to
уважай
just keep
человека,
quiet.
почитай, благодари Бога. Это вообще враг. И лучше не давай. То есть лучше не давай советов.
So the moment you try to correct somebody, the first thing he thinks that you don't respect him or you try to look down on him.
Рубашку поправил. Поэтому да, я думаю, это да, с детства.
So for him, he preferred to go with a torn shirt or dirty shirt than for you to try to correct him. And because the person does not have goal inside of him, or he's not going anywhere, that's why he sees your correction like trying to bring him down instead of trying to correct him.
Я постоянно всем все говорю, ты не тут куришь, тут курить нельзя.
What I'm trying to say that criticism is like a problem in our country.
Причем тут, что я такой? Я ж тебе сказал, тут не кури там.
And for example, that when you try to correct someone that is not smoking, the moment you tell him that smoking is not good, he just gets aggressive and he tries to fight you immediately. Like, who are you? Are you my dad? Who are you? Are you my relative? Why do you think you have the right to tell me what to do? That especially the young people. The moment you try to tell a young person something, the next thing he's just going to tell you, you are good. Who are you to correct me? Pastor, what I'm trying to say that with criticism is a big problem for us. As in, like, when you try to correct someone, he has to tell you, and who are you? Like, how connected are you to my life?
Иногда мы их можем говорить просто, допустим, ну, я осел. Может на себя кто-то сказать? Ну, случайно, знаешь, ну, я неправильно поступил, осел. Ну, и они есть в обиходе. Но иногда мы их можем говорить человеку, и он, просто, слушай, ты осел. И это все, хана. То есть, поэтому критика у нас вообще куча проблем на этой почве. Не умеем воспринимать, не умеем говорить.
Like sometimes when you just try to see, when you see something that is wrong or something that is done in a wrong way and you try to fix it, you become the enemy. Because it's just the normal way that the way they think. It proves that the way they think not like people that are going somewhere. Not long ago, I understood that you can differentiate the people that are being successful or are going somewhere than people that are nobody and they don't even care. And from having her conversation with people, she tried to learn new things, like learning new words. She tried to concentrate on how people talk, how people answer questions.
Понятие критика в большинстве случаев и как бы в обществе в целом оно отсутствует или на очень минимальном уровне. Допустим, даже педагоги. И потому люди не умеют воспринимать.
So people understand criticism in a different way entirely, and they also accept it totally in a different way.
Я пианистка, и я училась с музыкантами.
I'm going to give you an example.
Ну, потому что вот такие, это ценности. То есть это на высоком, это, то есть нету понимания, что человек много лет занимался, у него вот это хорошо получается, это плохо. А вот тут человек коммуникабельный,
that
то есть
she
нет
tried to
трезвого
correct,
понимания рядом стоящих людей.
and the person was trying to tell her that you're going nowhere if you keep going this way, of correcting people that you don't really have anything connected to.
Вот мы с Юлей просто на эту тему рассуждали, да, либо ты кто-то, либо ты никто, вот и все. Поэтому говорят, либо ты талантливый, либо ты бездарный. А людей в классе 50, получается 2 талантливые, а вы все олухи.
So to make it simple, then it's either you're somebody or you're nobody.
Ты на пятерочке учитесь, а вы двоечники.
And if you are somebody, then when you criticize people, people can take it and accept it. And if you're nobody, you criticize them, then they try to defend themselves and get aggressive. It's the same thing with in school. That when a child is being criticized among his peers, the first thing he does, like he tried to defend himself or fight himself, or even try to report to his parents. But if the parents are rich people in the society or somebody, when he is being criticized and he report the case to his parents, then this criticism could be taken to another level. But Yula has not finished talking.
Ну, я просто приведу такой яркий пример. Допустим, 2 композитора прошлого очень сильно. Это Моцарт и Сальери, все их знают.
For us to understand criticism, we have to understand what the meaning is. But if you are being too emotional about the whole situation, there is no way you're going to get the point of being criticized.
То есть нету здравой критики, что человек, ну, может быть, он не так, как музыкант талантливый, но он был нищим, а смог добиться того, что он в команде короля. Ну, то есть...
Ну вот, мне интересно, меня зацепило вот твое...
So you can imagine, even as a musician, he feels that he's nobody because he's been criticized many times of the kind of music he's playing.
Вот сейчас, чтобы сделать, я как бы умею, ну, я работаю с командой, и я понимаю, что нашим людям, прежде чем, ну, как бы сказать критику, нужно сказать очень много комплиментов, потом только сказать мягко критику.
Вообще всем людям.
Да, потом только ты говоришь критику, и потом закончить обратно.
She works with a lot of people, and she understands that for their people to feel good, then you have to give them a lot of compliment. You have to tell them how good they are doing. Then everything will be fine. But the moment you try to tell them, criticize them, or try to correct them, then you are just going to make yourself an enemy.
Критика вообще отсутствует понимание.
Хорошо. А если я напишу эту книгу все-таки, как правильно?
And all this is a problem because people really don't understand what criticism is about.
Исправлять.
So Pastor is talking about how is it possible to understand criticism, and how is it possible to accept it in a good way. That might be another book.
двумя фразами. Ты по сути прав, но по форме ты не прав.
I want to say what I just want to add something to what we have been saying in 2 words. The first thing is the form of how people are being taught. I can even give an example about myself. I'm a mom, I have 2 kids. And all these times, as a mom, I have been criticized in one way or the other. For example, she's been criticized that why are her children not able to express themselves, or why are not able to be normal like compared to other children. But it's because of the way she decided to bring her children up, and she decided to teach them even beyond like a normal, any other Ukrainian family would teach them. And because of that, obviously, they are different from other children. But instead of them trying to see it as something new, they try to criticize her about that.
Потому что люди не хотят, люди думают, это ты говоришь для того, потому что ты завидуешь, ты хочешь быть успешной, ты хочешь опередить меня, а вот я иду этим путем. Вот завтра обрыв, я сейчас...
For example, if she has a question and she tries to ask people about the question, instead of them trying to answer the question, they say, oh, you want us to answer the question, or you're bringing up the question because you're being jealous or something. So it's a simple thing that when you notice something about somebody that is going on, or you see something that is not right, and you bring it up, instead of them trying to see the problem, they try to see as if you're jealous or something.
У меня человек работал на шиномонтаже, и он какие-то вещи делал неправильно. Ну, какие-то вещи я видел, что он неправильно. Я не критиковал его. Я понимал, что это его убьет, потому что он учится, и я больше его знаю. Я просто стал ему показал, как это делается. Если он раз не понял, я показал еще раз это. Я показал еще раз. Если ты специалист, почему многие говорят, что у нас многие бизнес строят не специалисты?
And he tried to teach him again, but he didn't take the correction. And he tried to teach him again, but he take the correction. And when he tried to do it again, the person got offended. So he's like, oh, I'm trying to teach you because I'm a specialist, so I know. But he took it another way. He took it in a negative way. So he's saying that for you to have this kind of business, there are some things, there are some basic things that you should understand. But he didn't see it from the angle he was coming. Instead, he thought he was being criticized and he wanted to get rid of him. Because people look at things from different angles. Because we all look things from different angles. This is what I want to do. Pastor said, if I was one, the first thing I would say, oh, maybe I don't know, but come, I want to get to know you. And like, I want to know even more about what you're saying. So Pastor is saying that if you criticize person and the person doesn't accept your criticism or your correction, it might be the approach of you to him. So it's better for you in the beginning, try to get to know the person a little bit so that you have a better approach to the person. And in that case, the person might be able to accept your correction. So I want to say something that I really agree with Pastor, that we don't know how to criticize people in a positive way. So what did you say again? Can you repeat what you just said? So she's saying that yes, the problem we have that we don't know how to criticize people in a positive way. So Pastor is saying that I can imagine how many people that don't know how to criticize people in a positive way.
Почему нет?
Нет
Потому
такой
что
культуры.
культуры
I agree with Yulia
правильно критиковать людей.
that
Потому что
we don't have that kind of culture to accept criticism.
критики, да. Но
And because
очень
we don't
часто,
even understand what
просто моё
criticism
мнение,
is, and
то,
we
что
don't
я
even
наблюдала,
know and
люди,
how to accept
если
it.
какое-то замечание даже делают, они делают это без любви, без уважения к другому человеку. Сразу
This is
с
what I've
претензией,
noticed,
сразу с претензией, ты вот виноват, ты
that
должен,
people
ты не
criticize
прав, и
other
всё.
people
А
without
если бы
respect.
люди хотели, ну, то есть,
They do it
если хотят кому-то
unconsciously.
помочь, наставить, поддержать,
And what they do
не
is that
сильно
they just come up to you and just say you are not right because you just didn't do the right thing, and this is how you should have done.
поймет, в чем именно
So because
вопрос,
of that,
и
they do
поймет,
it with
что
bad
нужно
quality.
сделать. Если нужно, ну, спросит, уточнит, что нужно сделать. Но если критика некачественная,
And because of that, people don't really understand what the question is all about or what the criticism is about.
просто оскорбление, то...
Воду дайте.
Да. Спасибо, спасибо, спасибо. Ой, да.
So because they don't understand the criticism or what the correction is all about, they see it as being, they see it in an abusive way.
Этот вопрос, пока тебя
This is
довели,
strange. This is the first time this is happening to me.
Нервничала, значит.
Ну, я не скажу, что вы
Волнуешься,
нервничала,
да.
просто, может, устала чуть-чуть. Но это, ну, может быть, действительно, и это тоже. Я так хотела сказать, просто это...
Do you know why this is happening to you? Because you're panicking, that is why.
Так вот, я так вижу, вы особенно обратили внимание на этот вопрос. Просто он действительно важный, потому что у нас действительно в стране не умеют критиковать правильно. Если хотят помочь,
That yeah, it's
люди
true. I'm
помогут.
panicking because I've not really paid attention to this question before.
А если хотят просто оскорблить,
That because,
сказать
for
своё мнение,
example,
вот им
you want to
нравится,
help
что ты
people,
так сделал,
but
ты
you
так
cannot
поступил,
help
ты
them
так
because you
посмотри.
have a bad
И
quality
только
of
этим вот
the
нравишься,
approach to them.
они исправят, они не помогут, они не придут, не скажут, вот, знаешь, если бы ты так
And the
сделал,
moment
было
you
бы лучше.
criticize them in a wrong way, the first thing they feel is that, oh, he's telling me that I'm not doing it the right way or I'm doing the wrong thing. And that is the only message that they will be left with, instead of them to try to concentrate on the correction they are being corrected.
Потом еще несколько комплиментов. Ну, тогда как-то оно будет восприниматься. Комплименты сразу
So
располагают
she now
человека,
understands that the best way of the approach is like if you give someone a thousand compliment, then you will be able to criticize him. In that way, he won't see the criticism as a big deal. But if you just go straight to the point and try to, criticize the person or correct the person, then you're going to break the person and the person won't understand the point you're trying to make. And then he will feel that you don't have the right to criticize him.
Я тогда старалась сказать красиво, правильно, аккуратно. Но это уже другой включается момент. Подождите.
And especially when the person is really trying hard to be somebody or to do something, you can imagine when they are being criticized, it's just like you just bring them down.
С этим спорите, сама про это говорила, да. Но я старалась, тогда я сказала, что я старалась сказать красиво, правильно, но когда уже меня не слышали, я же сказала, как сказала, лишь бы сказать, что меня...
That I'm trying to do the right thing, but if the person doesn't pay attention or doesn't listen to me, then of course I get defended and I try to defend myself, even though I might be wrong. Oh, this is the first time I'm seeing this kind of situation.
Я хотел бы сказать тоже свое мнение по поводу критики оскорбления, да? Почему люди, на критику сразу воспринимают.
I also want to tell you about my opinion of criticism.
В нашем обществе не культивируется.
That the first thing when I'm being criticized, I see it as abusive.
Ценность человека, что вот, ты человек. А получается как? Вот я лично.
That our society don't really appreciate the level of living. They don't understand your appreciate personality, your personalities.
Я был подростком, и я очень ярко отреагировал
I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me in school.
На поступок моего классного руководителя. Она мне, значит,
that
reacted
написала оценки, которых не
to
существовало.
one of the teachers in
Ну,
school.
просто очень много добавила плохих, ну и так для ассортимента и хороших. Вот. И я, значит, взял свой дневник, а он был зеленого цвета. И я пришел домой, посмотрел, увидел такую яркую несправедливость. И я взял таким жирным красным карандашом весь дневник,
That, for
значит,
example, when he was
поправил.
in school, something happened.
Вот. Ну и, значит, дневники сдали на проверку.
That there was
После
a
этого я прихожу
painting
на
that he
следующий день
felt
в школу.
it wasn't right.
Классный руководитель просто бледная вся, с димедролом постоянно глотает. И мне, значит, там начинает Нелют, выйди из класса. Ну, начинают меня там обзывать, в общем, разные фразы такие. Это первое. Выгнала меня со школы, обозвала,
So
выгнала,
he
значит,
made
с
this
класса.
painting
Потом
that
я
he
узнаю,
went,
что,
he took it
значит,
to school, and
внеплановая
when he took it
линейка
to
в
school,
школе.
the
Это
teacher
по
now
поводу
showed it to
моего
the whole
поступка
class, and
собрали
the
всю
whole class
школу.
were laughing at him.
Значит,
They were
всех
calling him
учеников
names.
сорвали со всех уроков, линейку сделали, поставили мне посредине.
Because
Сказали,
of what he
какой я
did,
плохой,
they,
какой я миленец,
they called a
какой я весь
meetings,
такой, такой,
all,
такой, перед
all
такой.
teachers,
Вызвали еще
telling him how bad it was, how he was wrong.
Опять меня пошерстили, добавили мне дополнительных ярлыков. И я все
They
время
called
ходил,
his
думал,
parents
ну
also
почему
to
я такой,
school
вот
and
я,
talked
вот они
about
сказали,
his
я
behavior.
такой. Я говорю, я же просто отреагировал на то, что сделал классный руководитель. И я подхожу, значит, спрашиваю,
And
Людмила Ростиславовна,
all
почему
this
вы
while,
так
he
сделали?
was just thinking,
Она
why didn't he
перестала со мной
try to defend
разговаривать,
himself?
опять меня обозвала.
He didn't see
И к
what
чему я
wrong
хочу
he
сказать,
did.
что и на протяжении многих лет я вот
Even
в
people
нашем
from his class
обществе я
stopped
такие
talking to
вещи
him. Again, they
наблюдаю,
called
что
him.
человеку говоришь какие-то вещи, на поступок обращаешь внимание, а в ответ нет. В ответ не тишина, а оскорбительные слова какие-то. Ну, хорошо, если у тебя еще есть мудрость как-то отреагировать. А если это в церкви, тебе
So,
еще
for
начинают
example, that
ярлыки,
he
еще
has
по Писанию,
noticed with
тебе
these
еще
people
влево,
that
вправо, шаг
if
вперед,
you
в общем,
try
добавляют
to
тебе разные слова. И ты стоишь, думаешь,
try to
либо
correct someone, the first thing he tries to do is
извиниться
to
перед
get an
человеком, что
information
ты ему
from
это
you,
сказал,
then use the
либо
information against
промолчать и
you.
уйти. И к чему я говорю, что
And
слабо
some people, when they are wrong, instead of them to apologize of being wrong, instead they try to take it personal to the extent of not even talking to you again or try to remove you from their lives.
То сейчас просто церковная идеология, то есть поменялась просто, как говорится, поменялся сленг, но сама суть осталась. Вот. И это все говорит о том, что люди не могут воспринимать критику, потому что ценность личности, ценность человеческой жизни, вообще жизни на земле, на очень низком
уровне. He has understood that he has seen changes in many people, how people have moved from one place to the other in their lives, because all in the name of criticism, because they didn't understood what criticism is all about. I also want to continue to talk about the topic criticism.
Да, потому что, пастырь, вы нас учили из 10 раз,
and she wants to say that she doesn't take criticism lightly, but at the same time, she now understood that she does not criticize people in the right way.
9 раз хвалят, а 1 раз критикуют. По-моему, наоборот. По-моему, 9 раз критикуют и 1 раз хвалят.
Can you give me an example in a family where a child is being praised 9 times, then criticized once?
Когда родители постоянно рассказывают, ты почему там пришел
And I think the problem is it starts from childhood. That the first thing a parent does is try to criticize a child or try to ask him so many questions. Oh, why are you coming back home very dirty? Why didn't you do your homework? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? So it's more like questions instead of trying to praise the child. And that she has not heard where a parent saying, try to praise a child that, oh, you could do better than what you're doing now. Instead, it's more of questions and criticism. So it's not only in the society, it all starts from home.
Ну, не знаю, я училась всегда хорошо, но меня не хвалили особо.
So you can imagine a child, someone in the society that he has been criticized even from school, he's criticized from school, he's criticized at home, he's criticized everywhere. So when he goes out there as an adult, the criticism continues, so he already has this mentality that the moment someone tries to criticize him, he tries to get defensive.
И в семьях, вот, я же говорю, что наблюдаешь вот эту картину, когда похвалы,
Now I'm telling you this, that definitely this is what happened when I was in school. Maybe right now it's different.
Но в миру, как правило, все-таки, соответственно,
thank God that in church we have phrases where they've been taught that you should love people and tell them right things or the truth about themselves.
То есть там говоришь человеку, там еду, пересолила немного. Ах, значит, все, я не умею готовить. Не встречали такое? Я встречала. Говоришь, попробуйте, скажите, девушке или женщине, что она плохо приготовила.
And there was a little bit more salt or extra salt. The first thing she says to herself that, oh, I don't know how to cook.
Да, то есть, а почему? Потому что человек воспринимает это на себя как на личность.
That as a correction, she just take it personal and assume that she doesn't know how to cook because they told her that the salt in the food is a little bit much.
Из семьи ее решать, и уже в обществе здесь очень, слишком мы травмированы все, мне кажется.
So at the end of the day, I think this correction should start from the family, where parents should be able to praise their children more and criticize them as well when it's needed.
Сначала их хвалить, пастор, я не думаю, что вы своих детей постоянно критикуете.
So you should also be included in bringing up a child, the criticism and praise as well. So Pastor is saying from the principle I gave you is 9 times praise a person, then criticize him once.
К сожалению, мало мужчин таких. Вы знаете, мы с мужем, когда поженились, скажу честно, я не очень хорошо готовила первый год. Он мне ни разу об этом не сказал. Он мне это сказал спустя какое-то время уже, когда мы там разговорились, он говорит,
So I want to tell you, even in my marriage, the first year I did not cook very well. I couldn't cook very well.
Наоборот, и знаете, с каждым годом...
So she remembered that when she cooked, she would ask him, so how is the food?
Все хорошо. Вот,
He will say, oh, it's okay.
Для меня, может, он правильно действительно поступил.
It's okay.
Да.
Everything is
Я не могу
all
сказать, что
right.
оно было супер невкусное, такое себе. Вот, это мне уже потом
But
признался,
the
говорит,
husband couldn't tell her that her food was not that delicious or tasty. But later on, deep in the marriage, she was able to tell her the truth that, yeah, her food was not that delicious. And then she got better in the future.
Я задавала вопрос, почему действительно так происходит, и пришла к такому выводу.
I want to tell you that the topic of criticism is a crazy topic.
Необходимости критики, то есть все знают, что должна быть критика и что нужно к этому нормально относиться. Но я думаю, что далеко не у всех есть
that in the society, people don't really get it that you should be criticized.
Почему? Потому что, например,
and most people don't understand how to do it in the right way.
И допустим, почему я неправильно реагирую на критику? Или, допустим, может быть, критика.
I used to ask the question,
и пришла к такому выводу,
when I'm right,
хорошо задавать человеку, который
when am I right, or why didn't I do it right,
как он будет
or
аргументировать
when
своё
should I do
мнение,
it right,
а во-вторых, каким тоном
that she always
это
tried to
говорит.
ask questions.
Почему? Потому что, в принципе, конструктивная критика, она обязательно
that I
имеет под
always
собой
want
какое-то
to
основание,
put myself out there
представиться, на
to
каком
know
основании вы
what
делаете
right
такое
thing,
заявление
what's the right thing
человеку. И,
for me
конечно
to
же,
do.
мотив сердца. То есть, если вы человеку хотите реально помочь, вы ему хотите помочь.
And when
Вы
people do
обязательно
things,
это
she
делаете
tries to
правильно, и
understand
ваша
why
цель
they do
будет
such things.
действительно достичь цели, чтобы человек вас услышал. Не чтобы себя
And she
поставить
also
в
asks them
удобное
questions,
положение
why do you
и
do such
показать свой
things?
ум, показать
So
свои
by the time
знания.
the person answers the question, then she will be able to tell them any criticism or any correction she has.
С одной стороны, ты вроде бы понимаешь, что человек тебе не чужой, а с другой стороны, так чувствуется предвзятость. Во всяком случае, у женщин есть такая, знаете, внутренняя интуиция, когда тебе желают добра, когда тебе его не желает, когда этот критики просто избыток, не по делу
Like
просто.
I,
Можно себя же тоже загнать
I
в
was
тупик,
in
что
a
уже совсем дурак,
situation
извините за
where
выражение,
I
что
knew
постоянно меня
that
критикуют,
okay, I
критикуют.
wasn't
Я
doing
вообще
the right
мало
thing,
понимаю в
and
жизни,
a
почему я
stranger
постоянно,
walking up
есть
to
только
me,
доброжелательность,
coming up
только
to me,
любви вокруг
trying to
постоянно,
correct me,
зато критика.
and at one side I was like, okay, I might be wrong, but at the other side she's thinking, okay, who are you to even come to, you know, try to correct me or tell me something about me? Especially for we women, we always get emotional when with about things like this.
Вообще, как воспринимать критику от того, что как ее делать, да? Уже больше концентрируемся на вопросе тому, как правильно делать критику, а не как ее воспринимать. У меня вопрос. А вообще цель критики? То есть какой целью делается критика?
I want to know
Возможно,
I want to know what is the purpose of criticism.
Зачем нас критикуют? То есть вообще, ну зачем нас критикуют?
Она сказала, потому что обрыв там, обрыв.
I want to know the reason why we should be criticized.
Кто нас критикует, он хочет сделать нас лучше. Так же или нет? То есть вы согласны? Цель
That the people that criticize us wants to make us better people.
То есть человек задает какой-то запрос. Ты сделай, ну, я хочу у тебя видеть такие-то данные. Я хочу, чтобы ты стал таким. То есть в современном мире, когда существует такая конкуренция, и мы слышим критику, и потом еще ожидаем...
That I've come to understand that people criticize people, other people, because they want to make them better people. Not just to make fun of them, but to make them better people. But it's left for the person to pick up the positive thing about the positive thing about the criticism. That some people they miss it along the way. Instead of them try to learn something from the criticism, they pick it as a negative thing, and they lose the whole point.
Напівпрофесійно, можна сказати, займалася спортом, кікбоксингом. Ну, це був не контактний вид спорту, а просто нам поставили техніку як кікбоксерам. Так, ну, показові виступи. Ось, і я зараз ходжу просто в спортзал, займаюся сама.
I do kickbox, and they put us in a situation in the hall where you have to, you know, work with other people. You have to work with a partner.
Ну, я дивлюсь боковим зором, і ну, мені просто його стало шкода, що він собі зараз
So
поламає руку.
one of her partner was doing something that was wrong, and she was trying to see how she could tell the person not to do that so that he won't break his hand or something.
Ось, ну я себе переламала і підійшла до нього, попросила, чи я можу йому дати пораду.
And because he was a boy and she's a girl, so she was very conscious of that.
Так, і ну, я, чесно кажучи, взяла з цієї історії і для себе висновки, що перш за все не потрібно боятися говорити людям правду і говорити людям...
Особенно если просить у них разрешение сначала, да?
Так. Ну, і...
So because of she was not sure how to approach him, she couldn't tell him exactly for him to be not to be too aggressive with her or try to hit her too hard because he was a boy. And because that is the kind of person she is till today, she finds it difficult how to correct people or how to criticize the people. Because you don't know how people would react to different topics at different points in life.
Я чогось не знаю, все, я є людина, яка мені хоче сказати, я тішуся. І потрібно завжди ходити з таким станом, що є людина, яка знає більше,
and that in some situation when you try to tell somebody something, people react to it as children, and that because of that she is very careful and very sensitive. And some people, when you criticizing them or you tell them the truth, they try to see that, oh, you think you're better than me, that is why you're trying to correct me. So they lose the whole point.
І залишилась тільки я і цей хлопець, якому я давала уроки.
І ні, вони просто для них це було видно принизливо, що дівчина щось розказує про бойові мистецтва, як когось бити, і вони просто втікли. Там тільки в кінці до мене підійшов якийсь хлопець, каже, ну ти молодець. Ось.
Щоб ніхто не бачив.
Коли
всі уйшли.
That you can imagine she in a class with boys, full of boys, and she tried to tell them the right thing to do, and because of that they were trying to see her like, oh, you are a girl, who are you to tell us what to do? But they missed the whole point, that it was not her trying to control them, but it was her being more experienced, and she was trying to teach them the right thing to do.
Робити удари чи там битися, я не знаю, для чого йому це було потрібно, але він просто хотів, і він робив це. Знає, не знає, він це робить. І прийде такий момент, коли навіть ви будете щось робити не знаючи, прийде людина, яка буде бачити, що ви щось робите. І вам скаже,
So
що ви
some
робите
people,
це
like
неправильно,
boys
вас
especially,
неправильно.
they
Тому
try
треба
to
не
do
просто сидіти і
things
думати,
that
я хочу
even though
стати
they don't know how to
тим-то,
do
а йти
it,
і робити навіть
and they don't
неправильно,
care,
і
instead
прийде
of try
людина,
to
яка
ask
скаже,
questions, they just go ahead to do it because they feel that, oh, I'm a boy, I'm a man, then I have to know how to do it. But at the end of the day, they are not right. Hello everyone, my name is Daria.
Я хотела бы немножко дополнить Олю о проблеме критики в нашей стране, и я считаю, что в нашем обществе не только
I want to add a little bit what Olia have just said.
Ущемляется не только ущемляется ценность человека, но и нивелируется ценность
That I want to tell you that our society don't just decrease someone's
как-то критиковать, направлять детей, нужно изначально создать, ну это просто был ретрит по воспитанию детей, поэтому я запомнила. В принципе, в любом окружении нужно создать изначально нужную атмосферу, когда люди
that there was a training about how to bring up a child.
Подстроиться. При этом нужно учесть базовые потребности человека, построить изначальные взаимоотношения, и только после этого ты можешь сказать вообще любую критику, которую человек
so you have to create an atmosphere, the most conducive atmosphere for you to be able to correct somebody. If you want to correct somebody, you should be able to do that in the correct atmosphere for him to be able to get what you're trying to say.
То человек в любом случае примет критику.
По-моему, мы не досчитали эти комментарии. Давайте досчитаем сначала. Спасибо.
Which means you should try to get the person's trust. Then if you do that, then for you to criticize him, he will, or correct him, he will try to relate to you and get what you're trying to say.
Настороженность из-за ран внутри, это точно. А окружение воспринимается агрессивно. Алекса пишет, на самом деле так и есть, нет культуры критики. Чаще всего критикуют не для того, чтобы помочь человеку измениться, а чтобы выразить.
There is a comment from somebody that said that people don't see criticism as positive because of what the society have taught them. They see it as being isolated and try to be as insult.
Но мне их лучше не критиковать. Людмила Мазалова пишет, да, именно так, почти все корни ведут в семью.
And sometimes there are some criticisms that cannot be corrected, so we have to be careful on how we criticize people, especially when we know the kind of people they are. That someone is saying that criticism is a way that we can improve ourselves and grow. Someone is saying that it is very important to be criticized. Someone is saying that criticism is help. It gives us a way. It gives us a way and possibility to be more to be a better person.
Послушать ваши ответы. Вопросов много. Возможность приехать на встречу пока нет. Россия, Тула.
Pastor Sunday, we have a question for you. Is it possible for you to make it possible? Is it possible to give to ask questions online for us that are watching online? So they want a live streaming question and answering with Pastor.
Не, просто я надо, чтобы этот человек, ну, я понял, о чем вопрос. Но вот зададите вопрос еще раз, вы поймете.
Пастор Sunday, а вы бы могли сделать онлайн-встречи для тех, кто хочет задать вам вопросы и послушать ваши ответы? Вопросов много, возможностей приехать на встречу пока нет. Из России, Тула.
Я обращал внимание не только на вопрос, который человек задает.
From Russia, Pastor Sunday, is it possible for you to make it a live streaming Q&A?
Это у кого? Если это у этого человека, кто задает, в чем вопрос?
For example, somebody is asking me a question and he's telling me that the question is many.
Но если ради тебя одного нужно сделать такой,
if even though the questions are many, you should write the question down.
Кто еще? Таких много вопросов. Много вопросов это у тебя или это у всего мира?
Да, нечеткое предложение.
Не, не то, что четкое, нормально. Просто я хочу выяснить, что в голове, что в голове.
What are you saying exactly about many
Сколько
questions?
таких людей ты знаешь?
Там целый канал так написал этот вопрос, там не человек написал.
Да, вот об этом я хочу выяснить. Это у кого?
Потому что он хочет сделать такое шоу. И
вот поэтому я должен это услышать от него. Я не хочу предполагать.
Нет предложения коммерческого.
Я не хочу, да.
So where is the question coming from?
Я не слышу это, что это, я не услышал это, что это не человек задает вопрос, это канал. Это к нам, если бы было так написано, к нам канал, поступает постоянные вопросы относительно вас, которые хотят задавать вам, тогда да. Если,
So, for example, on TV, it's only on TV that I've watched that people are asking so many questions and they cannot get all answers. But with me, if you want to get all answers, then you should write down every question.
Нормально, очень хорошо. Поэтому, если человек это слышит меня, я буду с удовольствием организовать такие. Но я не хочу на загадках.
If this person is listening,
Ну, выстроить систему, потому что кто-то сказал.
I'm gonna answer your questions, but I don't want in a situation where it will be guessing. I don't want it to be a live streaming Q&A guessing. So if you have a question, it should be a concrete question. It should be written down. And I want to know the foundation, the reason of this question. It has to be a reasonable question, not just any kind of question, because it's going to be a live streaming Q&A. So, for example, you just listen, oh, yes, I want to answer. So it's like the ideas or the questions are just running into your head. That shouldn't be a proper question for a live streaming. So what he's saying is if you have a question, it should be reasonable, good question. That then he will answer the questions. That another person is asking, are you going to be the one to answer the question or someone else will answer? Pastor say, I will be the one to answer the question. The last question about this topic is, we always think about something. So we're always thinking about something, but now I understand that you just shouldn't be thinking of what is in your head, but it's try to understand what is the reason of the question or the correction that is being given to you.
Я расскажу все, что я хотела сказать. Я думаю, в нашей стране существует некоторая проблема в способе обучения детей, я бы сказала, в подростковом возрасте, потому что в наших крутейших лицеях может сама директриса на уроках, где она преподает, позволить себе регулярно говорить детям «вы дебилы». Причем речь идет о лицее, где учатся люди, которые в возрасте 16-17 лет пишут сами книги, побеждают на всех возможных олимпиадах. Единственный нюанс, что все эти дети разные.
And by the time these children are teenagers, 15, 16,
человек, выйдя из этого лицея, в принципе, еще
their minds are already broken because they are already used to being criticized.
И как такому человеку, в принципе, реагировать в дальнейшем в своей жизни на какую-либо...
There will be a point, even as a teenager, as a child, he would think about, oh, who am I, like, who am I in this life?
По крайней мере, этот конкретный один преподаватель даже не интересовался, кто он, в чем у него слабые стороны. То есть люди,
so you can imagine if someone is being criticized at home, then he's being criticized in school. So the person like get confused and just think that, oh, criticism is a normal thing.
Вообще о филологической группе лицея, где химия, в принципе, явно не сильная сторона. Вот.
So if these rules are being broken in someone, then you can't expect to have a strong society or a strong country.
Иногда не воспринимаю критику правильно, и почему я лично иногда критику неправильно говорю или неправильно доношу. Я пришел к такому выводу, что...
So he has been sitting and listening to this teaching for 3 years, and he asked himself the question, why have I not been accepting criticism as a positive thing?
Я сам иногда еще по-прежнему неправильно отношусь к своим слабостям и недостаткам. Потому что, несколько иллюстраций дам.
That he has understood now that he has not been accepting criticism in the right way, and he has not been criticizing people in the right way. That he had a possibility of success financially. That was a big plus for him, and instead of him trying to help others also to be financial free, he tried to criticize them instead.
Следующий момент
из-за того, что по критике не надо говорить.
And some people have been going through difficulties because of what has been going in the country, and so it is really a sensitive time now to even imagine if it's a sensitive moment to criticize anybody or touch anybody in the country at the moment.
Вторая иллюстрация. Я по-быстрому после этого кризиса решил начать новый бизнес. Но мне опять же люди наговорили со стороны, слушай, нужно эту тему глубоко изучать. Я помню, когда-то был у вас на встрече.
Главное это по-быстрому.
Да. Вот. И, кстати, опять же, неправильное отношение к слабостям и недостаткам.
From today's teaching, people have been telling him that we should study this topic on a broader way.
Так вот, я был у вас на встрече, предлагал одну тему по производству.
That they should start concentrating more on topics like this. So someone is telling him that no, that even you've not understand fully the topic. So he is saying that what are you talking about? I have listened to today's teaching, and I've accepted where the part that I'm wrong. And from now, when I'm able to answer some questions, and now understood that I have not been doing or accepting things the way they should be.
И у меня была такая ситуация, я пришел к своему пастору Андрею Куксенко, я говорю, пастор, у меня очередная финансовая неудача. Я говорю, я какой-то проклятый, наверное. Я уже ходил, сам себя где-то отчасти укорял. И он мне как-то так с Божьей помощью легко донес, слушай, говорит, это нормально, когда у тебя бывают неудачи. То есть по-другому ты никак к этому не дойдешь. И в тот момент у меня произошло такое
He was in a situation where he was having problems financially.
Я пошел сам к пастору. Пастор, скажите, что мне делать? Скажите, где я не прав, где мои слабости. Второе, я понял, что нужно...
He went to a pastor and tried to tell him about his problem. And the pastor tried to ask him that, okay, I will help you, and it is normal for you not to be successful at this point, but that doesn't mean you should accept it. And he was grateful that the pastor was able to support him and put him through. So instead of him sitting down and feeling sorry for himself, he decided to do something with his weaknesses. And there are other people that when they know their weakness, instead of them trying to go out there to look for help, they try to, hide it and try to live with it. And when he was doing that, he knew that he might be criticized by this person that he went to tell him about his problem. But some people are afraid to go out there to talk about their problems because they are thinking about the criticism that might come their way.
В тот момент, когда вы мне начали говорить о том, что посмотри на свою седину, сколько ты в церкви, где твои результаты. То есть я уже
he remember there was a meeting that he was supposed to go, and he was not feeling really, he was kind of doubting whether to go or not. And he said, oh, it's better for me not to go, because if I go, the pastor will now say, oh, you are here, and he might find something to say about him. But later on, he told himself that I have to go there, I have to accept the criticism, I have to accept where I'm wrong, and accept it and change it. And the moment he made that decision, he went to that meeting, he was criticized as he predicted, but he accepted everything that came his way and he made changes. So, Pastor, I'm really appreciative of what you are saying. And he also appreciates how he's teaching everybody how to be a better person. Like he remembered the first retreat that he didn't want to go because everybody was saying, oh, pastor is very strict. If you don't do this, he's going to pick on you. And he was kind of scared. And he was like, oh my goodness, maybe I shouldn't go. And what is going to happen now? So he remembered when a pastor walked in, he was asking himself, oh, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? So at the end of the day, he was grateful that he was in that retreat. That because before the retreat, he had lots of minuses, but after that retreat, he made a lot of changes, and now he's grateful for those changes that he made. Because in that retreat, pastor made a lot of correction, but he understood and he noticed that pastor did it with love, which is the most important thing. So he is a very interesting person. Because of that, it is good to listen to him.
Я хочу еще сказать... Я хочу еще сказать о другой грани, критики. Есть когда люди смотрят на статус человека и на его положение. Вот даже, например, если вот у меня товарищ рассказывал, знакомый, он неверующий, он говорит, тут у меня Мерседес такой, дешевенький, я подъехал, на заправке стоит подороже Мерседес. И он стоит, уже заправился, но он стоит там и занимает место. Я ему, говорит, вежливо подошел к нему, говорю, друг, отъедь, пожалуйста, я хочу заправить машину. Он начал мне так борзо отвечать, кто ты такой, типа, Валерий.
So, for example, people accept criticism in different ways. For example, I went to the filling station and someone parked his car not in the right way, and I tried to tell him that, could you please move your car? And instead of him trying to move the car, the first thing he tried to defend himself and tried to tell me how he's right.
То есть, знаете, вот ответ реакции. То есть, какая была реакция у того человека, он смотрит, что тот человек не понимает, когда вежливо к нему. И я смотрю, я смотрю, что почему у нас
So you can tell from the reaction and the answer he gave that this person does not have goals, or he does not have dreams, or he's empty from the inside, or how he's thinking. Because it's clear that the person does not even understand what you're trying to say. So how can you react to somebody that don't even understand a very simple question? The only thing he asked him was, could you please move your car? But his reaction was beyond what the question was about.
Когда путем силы ты начинаешь руки закатывать, там, такое, да, ты подходишь так, да, жестко.
That you can imagine just you telling somebody or asking somebody the very simple question. The next thing he's going to do, he's already folding his sleeves. He's trying to fight you, or he's being aggressive.
Я думаю, что смотрите, она сказала, что она была одной девушкой в спортивном зале.
That one of the ladies says that she was in kickboxing.
Что может у нее хорошая, ну, техника.
That you can imagine for her to be the girl in the sports in the sport hall where there are a lot of men. Of course, they are going to feel insecure.
Она говорит, она одна женщина, то есть была в этом обществе. Это первое. Второе, может, у нее техника была хорошая.
Why am I talking about women?
Женщину, они хотят при ней показать, какие они сильные, хотя они не смотрят на свою технику. Они, женщина в зале, я хочу показать, на что я способен.
So what happened in the situation of the lady that talked about the kickboxing is that it's not because she was not good, but imagine men seeing a woman in their own kind of environment where they are being in their own corner. Of course, she makes them uncomfortable, and they want to prove to her that they are stronger than her. So that was why they didn't listen to what she was trying to tell them.
Когда мужчина мужчине говорит, то он будет смотреть, а кто ты такой, что ты мне расскажешь. Ну, это та сторона, которая, ну, та, что в миру. Но то, что вы нам говорили, пример давали.
So there's a difference between when a man criticizes a woman and when a man criticizes a man. Because when a man criticizes a woman, he will be like, oh, you are not listening to me. But when a man is criticizing a man, the other man will be like, oh, what are you talking about? And you know the next thing is like, it might end up to fight. So we shouldn't take criticism just like that. We should accept criticism as a ways of learning instead of insult.
Недавно было общение, несколько общений назад, на тему, как совместить любимое дело с зарабатыванием финансов. И все так этого хотели, что в конце вы нам все-таки дали принципы, как зарабатывать финансы, как быть успешным. И один из принципов звучал так, что
for example, they were given principle on how to use any possibility to make money.
То есть я должен настроить, то есть заранее сесть и просчитать, что я собрался в гору.
And for you to use your talent or your skills to make money, then you have to go through some process, you have to go through learning, you have to go through criticisms, and insult as well sometimes. But because if you know where you're going to, you shouldn't, that shouldn't stop you, because you're trying to get somewhere.
Я рабочий, кто бы там ни был, там, программист, дизайнер там, или продавец, я могу что-то делать неправильно, я не готовлюсь к этому. Или я вообще, в принципе, личность, я с кем-то коммуницирую.
He doesn't, for him, it is different that he doesn't care who will criticize him or who will insult him, as long as he is going to achieve his goals.
Я думаю, критики к обличениям и исправлениям себя надо готовить. Это первое. Второе.
But he never sees himself that he's perfect and he doesn't need criticism. He knows that for him to reach to where he's going to, there will be criticism and insult along the way, but that he accepts it and tries to learn from it and move on. So when someone criticizes him, the first thing he thinks that, oh, I'm not working on myself, that is why someone is criticizing me, I need to do something about it. So for him, you see criticism as a good thing. He sees it as a healthy way of life.
что 9 раз надо сказать человеку комплимент, доброе слово.
So he doesn't see it as a sickness or weakness, but he sees it as a good thing.
Глобально вообще так, ну как-то поделить, если какая-то такая статистика была, о чем говорят в нашем обществе, ну просто взять вот разговоры записать, то у нас вообще нет комплиментов. Ну очень мало комплиментов. И люди, почему?
But if you look at the society, what is saying and what is teaching us, then you understand why people take criticism the way it comes their way.
И как следствие, я не осознаю, что я личность, что мне вообще-то все хорошо получается, ну я не целостный, что я вообще-то профессионал, специалист.
But the most important thing is not just even how you accept it, is how you react to it and what you do to it.
И мы не можем воспринимать, у нас нет правильной реакции. Нет правильной реакции, потому что мы не готовимся к этому. Нет правильной реакции, потому что мы не работаем над собой, нет огранки, нет пути. И третье, то, что
So we do not react properly to criticism is because we are not prepared to eat. We are not prepared to learn more. We are not prepared to improve ourselves. That is why we react in a way that it shouldn't be. But it is also easy for us to criticize somebody. It is easy to talk about somebody. It is easy to complain. But when it comes to you, then you get defensive and offensive.
Наших друзей, знакомых, там, семьи, это. И поэтому получается огромное количество, что получаем мы или люди вокруг нас, это критика. То есть сплошные стрелы. Нет любви, нет созидания, нет назидания, нет покрытия, а только топор именно.
So the problem is because there is not love. We don't have love much, and we don't give out love much. So people take criticism very serious because that is what is most out there instead of love. But if you have love more, if you give love more and less criticism, then people's life will change.
Я хочу сказать свидетельство, немножко поделиться, и свои мысли по поводу сегодняшней беседы. Во-первых, хочу сказать свидетельство, что на сегодняшний день, я, допустим,
I want to tell you about my testimony.
Воспринимать любую критику. Я могу поплакать, я могу разозлиться, да, то есть есть эмоциональная. Есть эмоциональная.
I want to tell you how I've been taking criticism. I want to tell you that I could cry, I could get emotional, I could shout. But what is my testimony about? That I've been reacting to criticism because of the manner of approach.
Я 15 лет во Христе, я не обижаюсь 15 лет уже вообще. То есть я не знаю, что такое обида, на самом деле. Об этом я дальше скажу. Смотрите, и в чем свидетельство? Я я была ребенком, которого не хотели. У меня мама, она до 8 месяца пыталась избавиться от меня, аборты. Она специально поднимала мешки тяжелые, она гоняла на мотоцикле.
I was a child that was not wanted by her parents. Till the 8 months of my pregnancy, my mom didn't want to keep me.
Это мама мне потом рассказала. Она говорит, она передо мной покаялась, когда я уже была во Христе, когда я уже была здесь в Киеве. Я тогда много поняла.
My mom later on she told me about this and she repented, telling me.
Я потом читала книги наших психологов, я это все узнала, откуда оно все это было. У меня с самого детства было невероятно сильное отчуждение.
And when her mom was telling her about how her story, how she came to life, she cried.
Просто в один момент, когда я, будучи неверующей, я пришла на репетицию и начали славить Бога, и Иисусом коснуться сердца.
she remembered who she was before she gave her life to Christ. When she came to choir practice, and when she met with God, she understood that in God you have everything. And there is nothing like being saved.
Там что-то в тебе не так, не воспринимают, меня просто не воспринимают, допустим, мы с этим человеком не хотим общаться, мне все равно.
And she knows that God has accepted her the way she is after being saved. And now there is nothing nobody can tell her that she would take it serious or accept it, because she knows she has been accepted by Christ. But if somebody correct her or criticize her, she'll say, okay, thank you, I've heard you. But this is the most important thing I want to tell you, that since she found herself in Christ, criticism is nothing to her. That there is nothing that no one can tell her, because she knows who she is in Christ. After today's topic, she now understands that there is something called criticism and how important it is. And coming to church, it was after coming to church that she understood what criticism is about and how to accept it positively. Listening to this fellowship, she has made decisions. First level, how to accept criticism is. Умею ли я вообще ее просто воспринимать в любом виде? То есть понять, что ее надо воспринимать, это самый первый уровень. Второй уровень — это такое умение воспринимать мурлыкающую критику. The first thing is you should understand that you should accept it. You should accept criticism.
9 комплиментов, потом ложечка критики чайная, а потом еще 9 комплиментов.
That, for example, that what we talked about, like 9 compliments, 1 criticism. That this is already a level, a new level of accepting criticism. Now she understands that you shouldn't take criticism aggressively. Especially when you're being complimented 9 times, then criticize once.
Да, в рабочих моментах не обижаться. Это такой третий уровень. И вот четвертый — это самый сложный. Это то, что касается, наверное, семейных отношений, когда в потоке критики, каких-то, возможно, обвинений, трезво сопоставить себя и услышать в этом критику, что-то принять, а что-то откорректировать и работать. То есть такой самый глубокий 4-й уровень восприятия критики. То есть когда идет, уже могут идти обвинения.
So another level of criticism is the one from the family.
В этом где-то есть критика, то есть увидеть в этом критику.
The family shouldn't criticize people or the member of the family more, but they should be able to praise the person and the member of the family. Then should be able to criticize them as well. This is the last person. I have a question.
Критику нужно воспринимать правильно, нужно делать выводы, работать над собой.
We've understood that we need to accept criticism, that we shouldn't react emotionally. And from all the compliments people have talked about today, and I've noticed something about me, that this is just the beginning, that this is like a foundation, I've understood that I have to work on myself. And that especially in a situation where you know it's true, but it's painful at the same time.
Все что угодно может быть. Как правильно реагировать, чтобы все-таки не было этого такого глубокого эмоционального переживания, беспокойства, чтобы все воспринимать как-то более-менее хладнокровно, чтобы не настолько...
How is it possible, or which ways to react to criticism so that it won't be painful, or it shouldn't be, and we won't lose ourselves in this in this situation? I have a book about, it's called I Have Emotion. There will be a book how to react to criticism. How to react that it won't be painful. So we have to decide on what ways, or what are the best ways to react to criticism. The first point is how to react to it, best way to react. And the second way is how to accept it in the right way. So I have to, the first point is I have to accept the criticism and wear it as clothes. So this is what I do. If someone criticizes me, I say to myself, okay, maybe I'm not right, and I have to give the person the benefit of doubt. Maybe he might be right criticizing me. Even the worst criticism, that does not even make any sense. But at the end of the day, in that criticism, there's definitely some details that is needed, or I need. And I definitely going to take something from that criticism. And I will try to see what is in that criticism that I've not seen before. I have to understand what is going on. That gives me the possibility to see something new. And he tried to look for what is it that he has not been seeing before. That is first. But if he sees that the plus is just 10% from the criticism and the minus is 90%, then he's like, okay, maybe this is, I don't need this. So he tries to weigh every criticism. What is 5% from the criticism? What is plus? What is minus? That, for example, that if he sees a right criticism, he'll say, wow, I've not seen this before. Wow, I've never noticed it. So that is what he do, and that is how he accepts criticism. So that in you there will not be painful. you have to criticize yourself every day. So you have to live in a way that you're just going and just looking. But you have to live and concentrate what people are saying about you. Don't leave and think that, oh, all is well with me, I'm good. But constantly you should be waiting and expecting criticism from people.
Скажу кратко. Есть одна древняя
In that
мудрость.
way, you're going to live a life without pain.
Бог дал человеку 2 глаз и 2 ушей и только 1 рот. То есть больше слушать, больше смотреть и меньше говорить, чтобы больше анализировать. Пастор только что об этом сказал.
There is this thing that says God gives someone two ears, 2 eyes.
Говорит, если вам кто-то что-то советует или что-то рекомендует или вас критикует, то прислушивайтесь больше к тем людям, которые уже находятся на вашем уровне.
That, for example, if somebody tells you something or recommends something to you,
которые снизу, они часто больше критикуют.
That the first thing to do is to consider the level of the person. Is he higher than you or lower than you? That, but some people don't look at all the situation. They don't weigh the situation. The first thing they do is they try to react to it. Thank you. It was nice being with you. Why is it that you people are not buying the books? Be blessed.